Happy Monday. What is up, everybody? see if I have a way to fade this. Let's see. There we go. Really have a way to fade it. Have to figure that out. What is up, everybody? Happy Monday. I gotta add that to the mixer somehow, like a separate channel. But whatever. Thanks, Granzino. It's good to see everybody. Hey, Pokey and Granzino and Isosecular, Blaster Master 80. And who else? Who else is in there? Let's see, Isosecular. Okay, that looks like that's everybody. And Pseudo V Science. Right on. Hope you guys had a good weekend. I certainly did. It went by too fast, though. By way too fast. So, good morning. Thank you, Oppo. Appreciate you. Appreciate it. All right. So I've had some interesting stuff. Oh, and I got something from the Girls Gone Godless. So when things get warmed up, I'll open it up and see what's in here. I know what it is, but there might be something else. So we'll do a little reveal for everybody. So let's go ahead and tap that screen. Let's get things going. Let's warm this live up. Let us share it out. Share it with friends. Share it with not friends. And if you're at least 18, a believer in the God of the Bible, the Torah, and the Quran, quest up and let's talk about your evidence that God is not evil. Oh, my day has been very busy. I've been going nonstop since like 6 a.m. So it's been a long day. But I'm here and I'm happy to be here. So I hope your day's going as well. And then let's share out that link to the bingo game. So I'll put it here in the TikTok chat. We still have a bingo game going. So if you want to play, how come paste isn't working for me? Why is that happening? Well, we'll make it work here, I hope. Okay, where is bingo? And I got multiple screens up and it's still too many screens or too many windows. So it's around here somewhere. Let me find it. There they are. Okay, there it is. Okay. That should work. There we go. There we go. So you want to play bingo, and also remember, everybody, anyone who started on the new game, you gotta mark your center mark. That's your free mark if you haven't already. I see a bunch that have not been marked yet, so be sure to do that because that's a free spot. So mark the center spot because that is definitely one we talk about a lot. And we have our caller, so that's great. To me, am I skipping? People seeing me skip? I can't tell, but can't be my internet because I just doubled the speed. I'm like at 2 gigs now. Skipping? And Pseudo V Science, thank you for signing up for Backstage Past. Appreciate you. It's a secular. It's your 1 month anniversary for your membership. Thank you. Okay, I'm clear. I updated the quality. Yeah, I didn't do anything actually. So it's like a stutter. It's getting better. Yeah, I don't know. Not sure what's going on. Not sure what's happening. Because I'm looking pretty clear on the YouTube side. YouTube, you guys, do you all see anything strange, like any stuttering or skipping on my video? And Godless Engineer, good to see you. Let's see. Yeah. Yep. I'm up at I'm at 2 gigs down and 300 up. And I just tested it like yesterday. Or maybe the day before, Saturday. Yes, it's Friday or Saturday or Sunday. You are clear on the more superior app YouTube. Seems fine over here. Okay. So it just might be a TikTok issue. So, have I debated Dinks the Puppet? No, I don't know who that is. So, nope. All right. So, see who we have in the queue. All right, I'm clear on this end. All right. We'll go with it. So, all right. So let's keep liking, let's keep sharing, and we'll bring up a guest. First guest. All right, so 2 returnees. Not sure what else we can add to the conversation, but let's just see what happens. All right, Simple Egg. You're back. What's happening?
How you doing, man? If you get someone else in the chat and you want to bring on something new, you can always do that. But
okay.
To answer your prompt, I would say that we have free will, and free will is good.
Okay. So because of free will, God is not evil?
Yeah.
How does that follow?
Because we were gifted a life, would you say life is good?
I think life is just life. It's neutral. Just depends. People's lives can be good. People's lives can be horrible. So it depends. So, like, for example, is it a gift of a baby born with Edward syndrome? You know what that is?
It's some sort of disability, right?
Yeah, the Edward syndrome is a genetic disorder in which the baby is born without speech, without hearing, without sight, and its nerve endings are it's a disorder of the nerve endings too, so they usually always feel pain. And so they're typically, what happens in most cases, the embryo is miscarried, but if it is carried to term on the rare cases, they live anywhere from like a few days to, in extreme cases, like 10 years. But there's like no hope of a cure, no hope of the baby developing at all. So even at 10 years old, in the personal case I know, they were still like infants. So is that a gift?
I would say that, I mean, that's a terrible thing to happen to someone. I don't know if I would directly call it a gift, if I'm being intellectually honest, right?
Well, I
But
appreciate that. Yeah. So that's why I don't consider life a gift like that, because it just depends how that life is. Like, for example, if I give my daughter, a mobile phone for her birthday, but the phone doesn't work, and it's broken, it's not really a gift, right?
Yeah, I mean, just to kind of get back to anchor my argument, really is the free will. Without free will, love wouldn't be possible, and I think,
why not?
The fact, how do you love someone without the the ability to freely choose that person
Um,
without requiring.
well, it's interesting you say that because I've been reading a book called by Robert Sapolsky, and it's called Determined. I think that's what it's called. And he's a neuroscientist who says that there is no free will. Now, I'm like leaning towards there being free will, so kind of challenging my determined, kind of challenging my understanding of it.
Mm-hmm.
And so he basically says it's all physiological processes, and because
End of
that's
events.
his contention. Yeah, I'm not in very far, but that's basically his contention. So um and he contends that we have the capacity to love just the same. So I'm not sure
I think
how, from your point of view, we need free will in order to love.
because you choose to like love your wife, like it's a choice that you make that's not required of you. It's not a choosing to love your son, choosing to love your neighbor is a choice that someone makes to
Mm,
make it possible.
I don't think the feeling of love is a choice. I mean, what's your evidence that it's a choice?
I would say if we do a simulation theory, right? I create a robot and I force it to love me, to force it to obey me, force it to follow me, everything like that, then it's absent of free will, so it just does what it commands. But if I give the robot the option to go against me and the option to not want to love me and the option to love me, whatever it wants, and then it chooses to follow me, then that would make the love authentic versus it being just programmed in your nature to follow and with the absent of free will. So
Hmm.
does that follow?
I'm not sure. I mean, are you saying then that if someone uh, abuses me, calls me names, calls me the N word, beats me, does all these awful things to me, I could just choose to love them?
Yeah, actually, yeah, that's beautiful.
Really? How?
Exactly.
How?
You can love your enemies.
You can love your enemies. Okay,
Yeah.
but what does that mean though? Like feeling the emotion of love towards someone who's mistreating you?
Yeah. That's what's so beautiful about love, actually. What is love if you're just loving someone that already loves you, treats you really well? That's not love.
Mm-hmm.
That's just like a reaction, right?
Mm-hmm.
But true love is like also it can come in the form of you have an enemy or an adversary that is constantly, let's say, bullying you and hurting you and this and that, and then you take the position of a stoic where you're like, that person is a little hurt or whatever circumstances he went through. I mean, if you lean on Robert Sablowski's work, I mean, he'll just say, I mean, you can use his argument to be like, oh, he's just a product of everything around him, and it's not in his hands that he's hurting me, so you can choose to love
That's actually what he
that
says.
person.
It's a
Yeah.
pretty extreme view. That's what he says, that we're not
Hmm.
morally culpable for our decisions. It's a pretty far fetched view. So I'm trying to wrap my head around it, but I don't think I'm ready to go that far yet. It would take a lot to convince me of that. So I don't believe that. Now,
Hmm.
does that mean then? So then you would say we have free will in heaven, right?
I'm sorry, can you hear me?
Yeah.
So you would say we have what?
Do we have free will in heaven?
Yeah, I think we would have free will in heaven.
So there's unaliving people in heaven, schmurder, stealing, rape,
No,
PDF files.
I wouldn't. I wouldn't say that.
Well, but isn't that part of free will? The choice to do those things?
I think, I mean, if we're gonna really get esoteric here and like trying to hypothesize on how heaven's gonna be and stuff like that, I would say, like, if I were to just shoot off the hip, I would be like, like Earth was a filtering process of people that ended up choosing to follow God, and and after that filtering process goes, so you chose to follow God. So once you get your renewed body and you have you're incapable of sin, you have a different flesh that's not bound to like this sinful nature, then you're just made new in a holy system. So and then it would be just that you couldn't do those
Well,
things.
what's this? So you're saying it's a transformation after you die and go to heaven? Why can't it be a transformation that you turn evil?
Saying
Like
because
what's
I mean
the
I would
yeah,
say,
what makes you transform?
I mean this is me, that was me just shooting off the hip. I would just say you get a new body,
Yeah,
right? New
yeah,
flesh.
okay. That's fine, you get a new body, but I'm trying to understand then. You still have free will, but you just don't you don't have the choice to do those things? I'm not sure how that works.
Okay,
That doesn't make
I see
sense
what
to
you're
me.
saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, logistically, I wouldn't want to argue something that I haven't really fully thought
Okay.
through.
Well, because
But
like if you
yeah, I
think
mean,
about it, Satan was in heaven, right? Lucifer,
yeah, and he chose to disobey
and he chose
God.
to disobey God. Yeah. So there must be
You
free
know,
will in heaven if he chose to do that.
yeah, maybe there is free will in heaven, and
Okay.
maybe you can still be cast back to earth after you disobey or something. I have no idea how it works,
Okay.
man.
So I guess you can still unalive people in heaven. You can steal wallets if you want. You can, you know, you can
I
pee in
mean,
somebody's water bottle. You can, I mean, I mean, there's nothing
I
stopping you,
don't know.
right? You still have free
I
will.
don't. Yeah, I mean, dude, I don't know. I would ask you, like, if you're intellectually honest, like, what does the Bible say about free will in heaven? Do we have it?
Doesn't say anything about it. Doesn't
Yeah,
say
so I
anything
wouldn't
about
know,
it. Doesn't
man.
say anything anywhere about in the Bible about free will.
Yeah, so I would
In
just say
fact,
I
God
don't.
infringes on your free will many, many, many times.
Well, yeah, I mean, sometimes I have a problem. I don't know. Maybe you can educate me on like how arguments and these debates go when you. It's like it's interesting how atheists will borrow from our worldview to pick and choose things. It's like you assume things from our worldview without taking the full worldview in our perspective, but
Yeah, it's an
then
internal critique.
yeah, an eternal critique. Like
Hmm.
how are those logistically sound? I it doesn't make sense to me.
Well,
Can you explain that?
yeah, like you take something and you say, suppose this is true, and then you
Yeah.
say, okay, so suppose there is free will. Then and then you test it against different scenarios, different hypotheticals, different logics, things like that, different
Yeah.
propositions, different things, and see if it holds up. And that's how
Yeah, but
you
if you're
determine whether or
supposing that's
not
what
it's coherent or rational or whatever.
yeah, but the problem I find when it comes to internal critiquing when you're dealing with a divine all good God is that you have to suppose that our God is all knowing and all good, right?
Okay.
Like I'm not trying to give like I'm not trying to say that. I'm not trying to go into that debate, but I'm just saying if you do an internal critique on our worldview and our God is all good and all whatever all knowing, don't you have to hold that standard in the example?
Well, yeah, you hold the standard and then, but everything needs to line up with it, right? So if
Yeah,
this
so
God
then
is, yeah, so,
I can logistically rebuttal and be like our God is all good and that like and that would be logistically sound in that argument
okay.
because then
So if your God is all good, like for example, in this part, then we would look at something like, for example, um, you'd say Jesus was morally perfect, right?
morally perfect, yeah, the his
Yeah.
spirit was.
Okay. And um, so now and it also says in the Bible, I think it's in the book of John, it says the Father and I are one. That was true, right?
Yeah.
What he said.
Mhm,
Okay. So
mhm.
then that means then that if there were so if does that mean then that Jesus would or would not uh stop a child from getting raped?
Yeah, so then it presupposes so many different factors, right? That's why I kind of bring up this argument of internal critiquing is that like in our worldview, we would say that there's so many unknowns about God where it's like
Okay.
we gave us free will, we're in a fallen state, and if he imposes things, if he tries to put even if he puts in like 1%, like they ran a simulation on I don't know if you know this experiment where they built these robots and they kind of try to build a perfect world where you still have the option to do bad things to other people, but God would intervene last second and just stop that bad act from happening, and then
Hmm.
the model kind of like failed to it failed in a logistical way where it's like it became like an echo chamber where the free will was impeded on to the point to where they ended up becoming robots again. um
Okay.
the whole problem, this is why I say free will is kind of like a very big pivotal thing. It's either free will is like completely God is removed from the simulation of whatever earth universe, he's completely removed from it, or it can't be either or, he's fully in or fully out.
Okay.
Like
So if
that's how I
he's
see it.
all right, well, then if he's fully in as you believe, then and you said Jesus is morally perfect, which means and Jesus the Father are one, that means God is morally perfect. So in some
No, I
situations
say
it's
he's
morally
fully out.
well, hold on.
Fully
And
out.
he's fully out. So
Yeah, fully
he
out of
just
this.
watches
He does
everything
not.
and lets everything go.
Of course, yeah. I mean that then he would stop all this bad stuff from happening.
Okay.
Yeah, for
So
sure.
then it's morally good to allow children to be raped. It's morally perfect.
So, but that's a presupposition that God is saying that that is good.
Well, you said
Who said that?
is God morally perfect?
God is morally perfect. I
Okay.
would say that.
And everything God does is perfect?
Yeah.
Hmm?
Yeah.
Okay.
Everything God does is perfect, but what we do is not perfect for sure.
Okay. So everything he does is morally perfect.
Yeah.
And that includes not doing something, right? Allowing something to happen. So when God allows something, God allowing things to
But
happen is morally
when you
perfect.
this is what I
Yeah.
mean by the integral. This is what I mean by the integral critique, which is why I wanted you to define it. Is that like when you say allow something to happen, you don't assume that God is all knowing and all good because
What do you mean?
the this is why is because you don't know the ultimate outcome. You don't know the ultimate perspective. You don't know we don't know what's going on. It's like
Well, I'm
I can
asking
ask
if
the
it's
same.
morally perfect or not. I'm not asking if he's all knowing. I'm just asking if it's morally perfect to
God is
allow.
morally perfect,
Yeah.
but then you
So
said,
allowing things to
is it
happen
morally perfect to allow?
is,
Yeah,
yeah. Is it morally perfect to allow things to happen when God does it?
when God doesn't allow things.
Well, you
Can
just
you
said
help
he
me out
did.
here? Is it sound to say that?
Well, you just said he allows things to happen. You said he has hands off. He lets things happen. That's allowing things to happen, right? Allowing things to play out.
Yeah, I guess you'd say that.
Okay. So would that be morally perfect when God does it?
Morally
Because if
perfect.
he's all knowing, all powerful,
Yeah,
yeah. So he
ultimately
knows
morally perfect.
ultimately that it's the morally perfect thing to do. So I'm actually assuming he's
Yeah,
all knowing. Yeah, I'm assuming he's all
yeah,
knowing.
sure,
Okay.
sure.
So it's morally perfect. So all you got to say then, it's morally perfect when God allows children to be raped.
But that dude, that's like crazy, man. I'm not gonna say that, and it's just like it's fucked
But
up, right?
well, does he allow children to be raped? Of
He
course he
doesn't.
does, right?
I mean, dude, we always end up in this place. It's a really rough question. I know what you want me to say.
This
Like
is
you
your
want to
belief,
see the
bro, not
Christian
mine.
defend. Yeah, you
This is
want the
your
Christian.
belief. Yeah.
You want the Christian to defend it. No, I'm not gonna defend that. It's bad. I think that's of the devil, though.
Okay. But God still allows it, right? Because God could stop the devil from making that happen. God could stop us from, people from raping kids, right? He could stop
Yeah,
it if he wanted to, right?
yeah, but do we
Okay.
know what's gonna happen if he starts to and like he ends at everything, like all the good ends, all the bad ends? What happens then? Like we don't know.
Well, I don't,
We're
yeah,
assuming.
yeah, you're right. We don't know. But my point is, you're saying when God allows things to happen, it's morally perfect. Therefore, it's morally perfect for God to allow children to be great. I mean,
Dude, is it how would the best you've done these really probably a lot,
mhm.
and you've researched a lot. If you're intellectually honest, how does the best apologetic, or like the person that you've given you a rebuttal on this, what would
there's
he say?
there's really only two
There's
ways.
nothing.
Either you deny that grape doesn't happen, which is wild, or
Yeah.
you say, yeah, it happens, God allows it, and it's because he's all knowing and he gets to do whatever he wants. And
Well, him,
but
I
that's
highly
insane.
doubt.
Yeah, but that's
No,
insane.
but
I just posted a video about that earlier today. A guy wrote me like a 10 post treatise about why I'm crying because God allows, babies to be killed, and God or commands baby killing. But I'm crying because for some reason, because he says I don't like it. Well, I don't think anybody likes it. Nobody likes it, right?
Yeah, and it's
Unless you
honest.
find somebody who likes it, and then you're gonna probably want to run. You want to throw rocks at them, right? You don't want to
Yeah.
be near that person.
Yeah,
So
but
I'm yeah. So
yeah, but so for the ending, for the kind
but
of
it's a
like what I like to ask for atheists is like this. Look, I I personally think that um we have some way to put it to where it's like at least we can all go to heaven, and everything will work out for good. From your worldview, do you have anything that justifies these evil, the like shit that happens?
no
Like, what do you?
nothing
How
to
do you
justify
handle? How
this.
do you have any like? Do you feel like you have any burden to like explain these bad things at all?
I condemn all of it. And on top of that, I mean, if you take the determinism route, it's it's all predetermined by, if you want to call it physiological conditions and upbringing and things of that sort, okay? Or if you take the aspect of libertarian free will, people make the wrong choices. There are just bad people out there, people who are wired horribly. And
Yeah, but like if we think
but
from
this isn't,
a
yeah,
macro,
but I mean, here's the thing though, simple egg. Why would, because if this God is all powerful, all knowing, right? Like from an evolutionary perspective, there are lots of explanations for why people do bad things. But see, you're
would
already
you say
running
there's an
into,
element of evil though?
but you're,
There really is an element of evil in
well,
this
I mean,
shit.
I see evil as differently than you see evil. You know,
Have you seen the
I
Epstein guy?
I see evil as profoundly immoral and wicked, right? And anyone who
Wicked, yeah.
commits something that's profoundly immoral and wicked has done an evil act. I don't care who it is. God,
Mhm.
Jesus, anyone. Me,
Yeah,
you, my kids. Now,
yeah,
but that's the evil act, right? And I think if you string together a series of evil acts, then it's probably safe to call you an evil person, right? It's
yeah,
track record, right? Now, if it's
yeah.
one off, okay, yeah, you can chalk it up to like a serious mistake. Maybe the person was ill,
Hmm.
they weren't in their right mind, something of that sort. Um, and then there's things like rehabilitation. That's why I'm not like, I was telling you earlier about this Determined book. I'm not all in on it. I'm actually very skeptical of the position.
Yeah.
Um, so,
But like, well,
so
my thing is that if you have in your worldview that there's just are you a materialist?
I'm a naturalist. I'm a fallibilistic naturalist, pragmatic fallibilist naturalist.
Okay, well, in that kind of sense, that everything is just like we have we have a bunch of atoms doing random things, and they're like, who
Mm,
is there to say,
not
like
random.
when you see something evil, it's that's why I see it as like it's kind of like you're borrowing from my worldview of saying when something is looks evil, and I say this in
Well,
like a genuine, like a genuine way. Not even my worldview. Just assume my worldview is there's a God and there's good and evil that God determines.
well,
Right?
it's
Don't go into the Bible yet.
okay. Well,
But I'm just saying,
I mean, if we just
you get
go
what I'm
to
saying?
the, yeah, I see what you're saying, but if we just go to the God allows raping of kids, I mean, I don't agree with that. And
Out of the
so
Bible.
I'm still not,
Honestly, be-
I'm at a
before we
loss
go
as
into
how
the
I'm
Bible,
borrowing from your worldview. Well, I mean, I'm just talking about it happening in the world today, like Epstein
because you're
Island.
no, because you're a naturalist, right?
Hmm?
Let's stay in your worldview.
Okay.
So if you're
So
not,
in
if
mine,
you're
it is okay. Well, if we're going to stay in my worldview, all right. So if you're going to internally critique my worldview, then I'm not sure what you're asking me. Then what are you asking me?
what I'm asking you is that if there's someone that's doing if it's all just random atoms and
It's not random atoms.
chemicals,
It's
it's
not.
not random atoms.
It all follows
Okay,
the
what
laws
is
of
it?
physics. So
Physics.
laws of physics aren't random because if it were random, simple egg, you would just people would just randomly like float in the air or you know like you try to throw a ball against the wall and it doesn't hit the wall, it stops short, and
Hmm.
there's no rhyme or
Yeah,
reason to it. There's no pattern. That would be
yeah,
random, but
yeah.
everything we know of in this in this world that we understand exists, follows the laws of physics,
Hmm.
right? So
Yeah, yeah,
that's not
exactly.
random. Yeah.
Yeah. So but
Correct, Connie.
that's
The
why I
laws of
have a
physics,
problem with
universal laws.
yeah.
Sorry, you
So
have a
where do
problem
you
with
get
what?
those laws of where do you get those laws of physics from? Like, are they just naturally occurring? You think, like,
Yeah, they're
from
inherent in
what?
our world. Yeah. I
Wouldn't
mean,
you say that those were designed though?
no, it's descriptive.
Because you could
Why
you
would they be designed?
simulate because you can simulate a society or a Sims world or whatever of that uses different laws of physics. Like, why is it that we have our laws of physics that were designed in
Well,
this
that's
way
within
and
a
we observe
computer.
them?
That's within a computer program. That's kind of different. That actually
Yeah,
still
well,
follows the
if
laws
you
of physics technically. But yeah, I mean, yeah, if you design a computer world where you can upend the laws of physics, yeah, of course, you can do that.
yeah,
Like you can
so
freeze the
but
Sims game, you can install a pool, and then, start the game again. Yeah, you can't do that in the real world, but that's in a
yeah,
computer
so
game.
we have
It's a simulation.
but yeah, so there was a designer to those laws of physics, which is me in that example.
No, no, because you're following what the computer designer can do, right? Um, but again, that computer designer used the laws of physics um, to design to make those custom laws. So it's still within the laws of physics.
Yeah.
So that computer program is not apart from our reality, right? It operates within our reality. So, computer operates within the laws of physics. It's quantum mechanics, right?
Yeah, yeah, I get it.
Mhm. Yeah,
So you it's just interesting how you can be a naturalism but believe in a law that exists that's
yeah,
outside
it's a
of
natural law.
it's a natural law that we observe
Mhm.
that we are able to test and prove that it exists,
Yep.
but it doesn't itself have a spot that, like, we're discovering this law, right? It's a discovery process almost.
Yeah, and by observation,
Yeah, and
because
usually
laws
when you
are
discover
what we observe happening, right?
yeah,
So
and
like
it's
there's
like
a
a
law of
usually when you
gravity, right? But there's a law of gravity and a theory of gravity, right? So the law of gravity is what we observe happening, right? The theory of gravity is like all the mathematical equations and what could happen and things of that sort. Like when the
yeah,
laws of physics break down and, stuff like that.
yeah, you go to
But
quantum world and stuff like that.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But like that's what we observe, right? And so like gravity, for example, the law of gravity, it's a law because it happens, it works exactly the same way every time. Right? You don't throw a ball up in the air and then one time it just stays floating in the air, right? It actually falls right back down
Yeah,
every time.
yeah.
So
I get what
yeah,
you're saying.
yeah,
The difference between theory and law. Yeah,
yeah. And so so like it is something we discovered. It's not something we created. It's something we named physics, like the physical world, right?
I guess I try to be intellectually honest every time I try to ask
Yeah,
someone
I
that's
appreciate that. Yeah.
yeah, and I just try to I'm trying to wrap my head around when because I know deep in my heart that a lot of people know what evil looks like,
Uh-huh.
right? It's like an obvious thing. Like, someone could seriously, like, I could spot it from a mile away. Like, it starts to get dark, and then their characteristics change, and next thing you know, it's like it's like an obvious thing. It's an obvious pattern that happens. Like there's this like
Yeah.
evil kind of thing going, right?
Uh-huh.
And I try to ask these questions to agnostic, or at least atheist and naturalist, materialist. This question, like, where do you think this is like stemming from? If it's not in the natural, like physical world, like I just see it as something deeper happening. Like it's like it's twisted. It's
Why?
it's wicked.
How do you see
I
something
don't know
deeper
why.
happening?
I
Like
don't know why. Like
like
it's
why do
just
you why does it have to be something behind the scenes? Like why can't it just be, you know, this
like
is
have you
physics.
have
That
you looked
is
in
physics is behind the scenes and we found it.
like have you looked into the Epstein files?
A little bit. But it's a bit
It's
triggering for me
stuff that,
because
yeah,
yeah,
it is
I
triggering.
can't I
Yeah,
can't
I haven't even looked into it, but I've
I can't
heard
spend
of
more than
stuff
a little.
within it.
Yeah. So
Yeah, so but like when you look at that, like if for me it's like when I see evil exist, I know good exists in
well,
a different way that's just socially like a social contract in society. Like it's like
okay.
there's an obvious evil here, it's like objectively this is objectively evil stuff, behavior. Doesn't matter what society you're in, doesn't matter is it mindless or not, it's objectively this is evil,
Well,
like an evil force.
okay. Well, here's the problem. Like with the e-files, we should probably really say e-files. You're right, Boki. So when we talk about the e-files, just kind of going back to what I was saying earlier, God just sat and watched all that happen, right?
Yeah.
And you're saying, well, he's all knowing, so there's a reason he did it. But if you can't explain the reason, what if the reason is that because he's evil and he wanted it to happen? How would you demonstrate that it's not that and it is because he's all good?
Yeah, I hear it. I have a very big burden, but I would say you also have that burden too.
Well, okay, so it's pretty simple, right? Because if a human sat and had the power to stop everything that happened on E Island and watched it all, is that a would you consider that human to be good?
No, I would not consider that
There you
human to
go.
be good. But you're still
Okay.
going to my worldview. I'm saying why is this
Well, you
evil
just said I
exist?
had the burden. And so
The
I
burden of
agree with you. I would call that person evil by watching all that. So why does God get a special pass?
Yeah, I know, I know. I'm not trying to like repeat myself,
Yeah,
like
but that's
so we
special
can.
pleading. Right. That's special
Yeah,
pleading because you
no,
haven't demonstrated that this God is actually all knowing. So you're just saying you're claiming he's all knowing and you're claiming he's all powerful, but you're not actually, there's no proof of that, right? There's
demonstrating.
no
Yeah,
evidence of
okay, I
that.
will agree. I
So
will agree.
then saying, well, because this God is all knowing and all powerful, that's why he allows these things to happen because only he knows. Well, see, that's the problem though, Simple Egg. And we'll finish with this. The problem with that is if that is what your position is, then you can't say this God is good. You have no idea.
Okay, I mean I understand the argument is very logical. It's sound.
Mhm.
What I'm trying to say is that for you to like, let's say you want to convince me to join your worldview, right? I would
Well,
first have
I'm
to.
really not,
I would
but
first have to. I know, but I would first have to. I would first have to ask you the same burdening question that pulled me away from my worldview, which is why does this evil force exist that seems like there's a dark force that's objectively evil? Like what is it?
well, what dark force though? You're saying it
The
seems like
evil,
a dark force, but what dark force are we talking about? How do you know there actually is a dark force?
the dark, because
What if it's
what
just
you see
people
in the,
acting bad? And that's it.
but
It's just a bunch
but
of people
dude,
acting bad.
when you see this type of stuff, you don't think to yourself like this is it's more than just someone acting bad. It's like a dark, like demonic thing. You don't think it's demonic?
No, not at all. I don't believe in demons. What
But
dark?
dude,
Yeah, what dark force?
you
There's no evidence. Simple egg. If there's no evidence, I don't believe it.
yeah.
No?
But just from face value, the effect that you would the assumption that I feel like I would have to ask you is that how can you rationalize the good and bad forces in the universe that we have now? Like why are bad things happening in such an evil and wicked way? Why? Like
There are
is this
good.
just like we're
Okay.
unlucky?
No, there are, because, well, evolutionary speaking, I mean, yeah, this is right at the end. Okay, well, here, I'll answer your question off the air. I'm gonna drop you down, but good talking to
Okay.
you.
Hey, good talking to you, man.
Yep.
Cheers.
So the way you would answer it is from an evolutionary standpoint. Good action, good deeds, and evil deeds, or evil deeds, quote unquote, can be explained. Like, all this can be explained. But see, we don't run into problems with things like, because we're not relying on this some, supernatural force that is supposedly controlling everything or has created everything. And so you've got to account for that. And I think then when Christians start to say, well, how do you account for it? They're just trying to shift the burden. See, that's a burden we don't have to take on. But that being the case, even neuroscientists who disagree with Sapolsky about determinism versus free will, even those who are pro free will, they still have an evolutionary explanation for it. So we have explanations for these. I mean, you can just, it's just, you can do a little bit of research, just a little bit of Google searching, and you can find that stuff. Read the papers and all that stuff. But the problem is, if you've got a God, this God, you cannot determine whether or not this God is good or evil simply because they created everything, simply because they had the power to do everything, simply because they're all knowing. That's not enough to explain this God being good, because as we quickly demonstrate, when you have a God that is supposedly all knowing, you still can't explain why this God doesn't stop children from getting raped. What is the purpose of that? All you can say is, well, there must be some reason. And the problem with that is, if there's some reason, well, then the reason could very well be that this God is evil. Isn't that right, Godless Engineer?
Yeah. So,
You had a question. How you doing, sir?
oh yeah, I was gonna ask that last guy a
Oh.
real quick question, because it's something that, yeah, it's just something that I've never really understood, and that's why I feel like they always put the cart before the horse
Mhm.
in those situations, because they act like it's axiomatic that God is good,
Like it's
right?
automatic.
All
Yeah.
good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and so then they interpret everything through that lens, when in reality, the omnibenevolent, like the triomni properties, those are the claims that we can then judge by his actions in the book.
Exactly.
And I think that that's the basic fundamental thing that they always get wrong.
Mm-hmm. It's the problem. Yeah, you're just assuming God has all these properties, and you don't actually know if he does. And then you're saying, well, because God has all these properties, then he must have a reason for letting all these horrible things happen. And then you have to throw in a devil, demons and dark forces and free will. I mean, it just complicates everything. It's just so complicated.
Yeah.
So I don't, yeah.
Also,
So you're right. Doesn't
I mean,
make a lot
like
of sense.
another thing I often hear when I say like, oh yeah, the God of the Bible is evil. I usually respond, and I probably could make a better response, but I usually say like, and they say like, who are you to judge God? I say, who are you to say he's good and judge God to being good? Like, you still like, according to you saying God is good, that's still you judging God as good.
Yeah.
And I know he wasn't saying that. I didn't hear him say it, but I just thought of another good thing to a rebuttal that might come up later.
Oh yeah, exactly. I mean, there's just so many ways around this. So it's like yeah. And so that's the thing with the problem of evil, right? It's like you just press on one side of it, and then suddenly there's problems with him being all knowing, or there's problems with him being all powerful, right? Or problems with him being all good.
Yeah.
Can't be all three.
The Epicurean paradox is quite fun.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's why I've started to actually kind of turn it around on them a little bit, because I'm really tired of being put on the defensive about my worldview. And I sit there and I'm like, okay, let's just say I have nothing. Like, I have no reason to justify it. Why don't you tell me why, on your view of the Bible, it's wrong to, stab a baby in the face or whatever kind of horrible thing, It's like, why is that wrong? Like, can you make a solid argument for that being bad or wrong? And they can't do it because God commands it.
Just wait for
Exactly.
someone to have clipped that and make it seem like you're saying, why is it wrong to stab babies in the face?
Well, I mean, yeah, I went over it last week. You know what's funny is I had a lady the other day who was basically saying, if God commands it, it's good. And, you know, and so we went over all the really ridiculous reductios, you know, kids being killed, her being raped for if her husband cheats on her. And she went there. She was basically like, well, yeah, if God decides it, then who am I to argue with God? And I'm like, wow, you know.
Yeah. Like,
So
yeah. Also,
I posted that
I
clip
mean,
over the
so
weekend, right? Here, one
yeah.
sec. I posted that clip over the weekend, and and it's just it makes her look so like just ridiculous. And then she commented this morning saying, "Thank you so much for posting that. Now everybody can see how good God is." I'm like, wow,
like,
it's just
lady, this is not what we were talking. We were
right.
saying this is bad.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a
It
bad
was
thing.
you're trying to
Yes.
mock God, but you actually didn't accomplish it. And I'm like, wow, it's just like okay.
Wow. Just
Yeah.
all the could feel the religious psychosis.
Yeah, it's
Do not
just
kill is one of the 10 Commandments. God commands people to kill, though. Or unalive, sorry.
yeah, absolutely.
God
And
commands people to
and
kill.
then at minimum he allows stuff. Yeah. And
Yeah.
and so if you're just if you got this God that's allowing things, then you can't call this God good. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I just came from a few lectures, and now I'm playing a game of Minesweeper before
Oh,
I
right on.
finish
Right on, right on.
stimulating my mind for the day.
Gotcha. All right.
That's usually where I end.
Okay.
Do like an hour of study, and then might play a game of Minesweeper, try and win that, and then
Let's
eventually,
see.
yeah,
All
be
right.
done for.
We have
Around.
do we have somebody in the queue? Hold
All
on a
right.
second.
Cool.
Okay, Video Ninja like acting weird. Oh, I see. Oh, interesting. Okay, now there's like an approval process for guests. I don't know
Oh,
why that
did
is.
you on Video Ninja, did you select to automatically admit them into the room, or is that deselected?
There we go. Okay, well they're added to the room now. Okay. All right. Well, he's added now, so we can bring him up. All right.
Cool.
Okay, next guest. So we'll bring you up. Trav L. I think that's the name. So we'll go with Trav L. All right. Travel, if you could unmute so we can hear you. How's it going? There we go. Travel, how you doing? We cannot hear you, so let me reconnect your mic. See if that works. You're still muted. Looks like you're still muted on your end. So, yeah. Still can't hear you. Okay, you're no longer muted. Let's see what your audio settings look like. It's like we're on your default microphone, but here, I'm going to try and reconnect it one more time, but you may have to switch mics or something like that. Oh wait, I think we can hear you now.
Way down on the Swanee River.
Wow, sounds good. You're sounding good. All right. Travel, how's it going?
Exuberantly, my king. Thank
All
you
right.
so much for welcoming me to your show.
Yeah, no problem. Before we get started, can I get your age and pronouns, please?
My age is 4 and 50.
Okay.
And my pronouns are His Majesty or my king, my liege.
Okay. Well, those aren't pronouns.
Yeah. Just go with it. I'm what you look at. He, him.
Okay. Which God do you believe in?
I believe in the great I am, which is myself.
Yourself. Okay. Well, I want to talk to people who believe in the God of the Bible, the Torah, or the Quran. Do you believe
Okay.
in any
Well,
of those?
I used to be a Christian. So is that worth your interest at all at this point, or is that would be for a different topic?
Yeah, not really. Yeah,
Okay.
but come
Fair
back for
enough,
another
man.
topic for another day. All right, appreciate you.
Fair enough. Thanks. Yeah, no worries.
All right. So yeah, if you are a believer in the God of the Bible, the Torah, or the Quran, and you're at least 18 and you have evidence that God is not evil, request up. So now we go to Maury Einstein on the TikTok side. How's it going?
Hey, hey everybody. How are you today?
Hey, pretty good. Thanks for waiting. Can we get your
Yeah,
age and pronouns?
um my pronouns actually was live pro, but they took that off me. But my age 35.
Okay. And what are your pronouns?
I don't really my pronouns ear. Like in my culture, ear is he or she, non-gender specific. We don't have pronouns like
Fantastic. Okay. All right.
that.
And
I prefer
then
that without any boxes because people don't like the boxes they get put in.
gotcha.
Better to have none.
Okay. Which God do you believe in?
I believe in
It's God of the Bible.
Yahweh.
God of the Bible? Okay.
Yes, that's breath of life. In our culture, Māori, we say Tihe Muriora, which is the breath of life,
Okay.
which God introduces himself as Yahweh.
Okay. All right. What's your best
Yeah.
evidence that this God is not evil?
I wouldn't really say it's not evil. Evil's a human perception, right? In a way that, like, that's what I mean. Most people don't actually read the Bible for what the Bible actually says.
Okay.
So it's sort of
So
like
is he or is he not
things
evil?
like demons. Like people in the chat saying demons not very well. Demon comes from the word daemon. That's like in the dialogue. You know what I mean?
Okay. So do
God
you
introduced himself as a daemon,
okay.
right? I am
Do
that
you
I am, the voice of still. But it's like Satan. Satan is the Satan. It's the adversary, the one who obstructs the pathway, an accuser. Like devil
all
comes
right.
from the word diablos, diablos. So it's
Okay.
like, no, what I mean is like, what is evil, right? What do you perceive as evil?
All right. Well, do you have evidence that God is not evil?
Well,
You can use your definition for now, but do you have
like
any
that's what
evidence
I
that
mean
he's
is
not
that
evil?
in the Bible, there's the wrath of God.
Wait, hold on.
That
This is your evidence that he's not evil?
no, what I'm saying is that it
Well,
doesn't
well, hold
actually
on,
say
Maori.
that.
Maori, I don't want a whole lot of like preaching or bloviating. I just need to know, do you have
No,
any
I'm
evidence that
actually
he's not
saying the
evil?
wrath of God is like horrendous things, right?
Okay. Okay. And
But the wrath of God is not
okay.
intrinsically evil. In our culture, we have feudal God of darkness, all disease, all bad things. But this is balance. You cannot know love without pain. You cannot know faith without fear.
Okay.
You
So
cannot know happiness
is
without
God not
sadness.
evil or is God evil?
God's indifferent, cuz.
He's indifferent? Okay. Appreciate you coming up. All right. So it was just kind of going nowhere. So
Yeah, it's crazy to say God is indifferent. I mean, I feel like that just basically makes him no better than
it's
like
pretty
just
evil.
nature or reality, right?
Yeah, that's pretty evil to me because if you're indifferent, you don't care. You don't care that people suffer or that animals suffer. Yeah, that's pretty evil to me.
At least nature has the benefit of not being sentient. That way, I
Right.
mean, this way you don't hold nature accountable. But if you're
Yeah.
sentient and you're indifferent, like that's a different
It's a whole
thing.
different story. Yeah.
I think would that
Whole
be a
different story.
category error then?
Category error. Let me see. If well, if this God is personification and they're saying this God has a mind, no, it can be well, because indifferent is like, I think that's intent was that technically human emotion or is that lack of emotion? That's probably lack of emotion, right?
Oh,
So
I
I
would
guess,
consider that lack of emotion. Like if you're
yeah.
indifferent, it's kind of like a sociopathy, maybe.
Yeah. But that means you're capable of being of having empathy, but you're just not. You're capable of caring, but you just don't. So
Right.
I wouldn't call nature indifferent. Yeah. That would be it doesn't have the capability of caring or having any emotions, right? So yeah, that's kind of how I'd see it. I don't know. That's a good question. It's interesting. All right, we got Roy Ray who's in the queue. So let's see if we can bring them up and let's see what they have to say. How's it going, Roy?
Yeah, I'm the best.
You're the best. All right. Can I get your age and pronouns?
11 teen, this, that.
All right. Thanks for coming up. Okay. Interesting. So, I don't mind a lighthearted conversation, but like when it starts off like that, I don't know. I just don't.
No, I
Just
don't
doesn't.
blame you on that one.
Yeah, I just don't. It just doesn't vibe. I mean, I'm good with like non-serious conversations. I can have those, but when it just starts off like that, not like that.
Want to prove that
So,
God is not evil. Point blank. Prove that.
yeah.
I'm on my spinny chair and I just hit my knee against my desk and it pushed my leg in and I just cracked my knee.
Rough.
Doesn't hurt. Like, no, it didn't hurt. No, like when you crack your knuckles, but like with your knee.
Yeah.
That's me every time I get off the couch. So,
I mean, when I used to do gymnastics when I was much younger, I like whenever I'd crouch down, just my knees would crick.
Oh, we have Crystal. Looks like we have Crystal and Icontic. Great. I don't know if that's the same, but we might have two Raiders. But welcome, Raiders. W Raiders. Glad you're all here.
If he's not stopping wars.
He's not stopping wars.
If he's all, I mean, like he commands wars. Actually, well, commands genocides. I don't know if you could say the whole word.
Yeah.
But he commands G-sides.
G-sides, unaliving, grape, child trafficking, slavery. I mean, that's a pretty dark list of things to allow or command.
Yeah. The biggest turn, I think, like sorry, you go ahead.
Sorry, no, I was responding to a comment. Don't worry.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say the biggest turnaround that I've found that they can't wrap their heads around is the fact that the Israelites were practicing child sacrifice.
Yeah.
Because like there's several passages where you can pick up where God requires it, and they pretzel themselves so hard trying to get out of it.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna, maybe, can you DM me those passages? Because I think I'm gonna build a little thing off that, because that's actually pretty cool.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
no,
totally.
The reason
awesome.
why we don't say the actual words is because it's about TikTok TOS.
Yeah.
We're able to spread this message. Like, I mean, trust, if you made a YouTube video, you could say the actual words, and
yeah,
like you would, like I would, if I was ever talking about those topics, I would say those actual words.
Yeah.
But on TikTok, you can't, because TikTok's is honestly a bit too sensitive. I do think it is much too sensitive that we can't say the actual words for unalive, G-side, and grape.
Yeah. Hey, Maven, how's it going?
Good. How's it?
Yeah, doing well. Can I get your name or I'm sorry, age and pronouns, please?
Yeah, I'm 39. He, him, his.
Okay. And which God do you believe in? The God of the Bible, the God of the Torah, or the God of the Quran?
I believe in the Lord, the God of the Bible.
Okay.
I'm a
What
Christian.
What is your best evidence that this God is not evil?
So first and foremost, we have philosophical evidence, right? We have arguments that can be made that shows
What are
that
they?
God cannot be evil. He has to be all good.
Okay. Well, tell us one.
Yeah, so God is a maximally perfect being. And in order to be perfect, you must not lack anything. Because if he was evil, he would lack something. So he's all good.
Okay.
That
So
is
he's
the
all
argument.
good. He's maximally perfect. So that means he's morally perfect, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And does that mean that everything God does and says is morally perfect as well?
Yes.
Okay. And that includes allowing things, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And so when God allows children to be raped, that's morally perfect.
Yeah, it's good.
It's good. Okay. All right. Thanks for coming up. Didn't think the collapse would happen in a minute and 42 seconds, but here we
Good
are.
choice.
Yeah.
Absolutely good choice. Don't platform people like that.
Here we are.
I mean, where do you go from there? I mean, it's
There's no
basically
place else to
admitting that
go.
you're
Like, oh yeah,
you're
you just like, okay,
Yeah. Wow.
like, I really hope that that was just a language barrier, but he didn't seem like it because he's sounded like he spoke pretty good,
I mean,
pretty good
he went
English.
from morally perfect, maximally good, to morally perfect. So he understood all that. So I don't think so. No. Yeah.
People
So
hide behind their religion, absolutely.
Mhm.
my question with that is always how do you define perfect, and how do you know if you've attained that perfection, you know?
Yeah.
But I don't like, I think that due to our human condition we can't actually know what like perfect would be.
Mm-hmm.
And
Maybe
so
under
that
like a
means that
subjective, yeah, like on a subjective, like you have like
yeah.
perfect moments, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, I think that we can have like you know, we can have good intuitions as to what that might be, but as far as like having that absolute knowledge, I don't think that we'd ever be able
Yeah.
to
Not
attain that.
absolute. No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I think it's like perfect within like certain constraints, you know, like maybe an app would work perfectly for a period of time and then it stops working, you know? Or like for example, you know, like if you're playing a video game and you do a level perfectly. That's like a moment, right? But that's not like all the time or consistently over a long period of time.
yeah. And then, you know, kind of in that same vein, I usually like to point out to Christians whenever they talk about perfect morality and everything like that, and that's
Mm-hmm.
how Christianity has changed over time. Like they always want to claim like a perfect moral foundation or whatnot, but it seems to me like their perfect moral foundation changes, and it's usually changing behind society,
Exactly.
like societal norms. And so I always like to ask them, like, well, if it was perfect, you're telling me that every single Christian was wrong about God's morality until you, or
Right.
until your particular theology?
Right.
And yeah, every time it seems like they're like, yeah, we're just now understanding it. It's like, oh, great.
Yeah. I just did I did a follow-up video to that lady and I replied to her comment and on top of that on my YouTube side there was somebody that commented he did like a 10 post comment, like one of those, and like this whole like essay over how like wrong I was. And so thanks for the hate watching, by the way. But um I posted all of it, and then basically the ending question that I had was, so if a Muslim said the same thing as you, basically that uh it's justified under Allah to kill kids because he can do whatever he wants with them, what moral principle are you leaning on to say that they're wrong and you're right, basically? And you know, because that's the other thing is they'll tell you that right away. If you just apply a symmetry test to it, they'll be, oh no, they can't do that. That would be wrong. Well, why is it wrong? You know.
Pause. Mine was lagging a bit earlier, but
Okay.
um, actually, for a lot of people who like make those like really long essays and comments, most of them I am pretty sure are just like they just typed something into ChatGPT and then they just copy and pasted it.
Yeah.
Because
Oh, I'm sure.
very
Yeah,
like I'm
a
sure
lot of
some of
times.
them are earnest, like, and honestly I kind of respect the hustle of writing, you know, long comments.
Uh-huh.
But a lot
Yeah.
of the time most of those are AI. Like especially like on TikTok, or like I said, like I responded to someone saying like about something about evolution, and they like responded with like a comment long enough that I had to like press the more for to see more text button. And I was like, okay, like this is very clearly AI wording, and also like it had is it a hyphen? Yeah, it's a hyphen.
Oh,
Right?
the M dashes. Yeah, that's like the dead
M
giveaway.
dashes, yeah, like
Yeah.
a really like yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh come on, like that's just like not all like some people do have that as in just their writing style.
Yeah.
Like it's like a lot of scientific stuff has that in writing style, but in a TikTok comment, it's almost always like an AI response, AI generated response.
Okay. All right. So we have a returning guest who claims he's a scientist. So let's bring him back.
All right.
Abu Muhammad, how you doing?
Oh, Pablo Garcia.
Hello, welcome.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for welcoming me to my live.
Yeah,
Are you still a Muslim?
What else is there if not Islam? The only religion that makes sense in life.
Okay. Only religion that makes sense. Okay. All right. So today we're talking about a little something different. What's your best evidence that God is not evil?
Yeah, very simple. Because he gave us free choice.
He gave us free choice. Okay.
Yes.
And how does that follow?
Yeah, because it is within those choices that he gave us that we can either be good or bad. So everything that you see evil comes from man.
Okay.
Everything
that's evil comes from man?
Yep.
Okay. And now does Allah allows everything, right? Allows everything to happen. Yeah?
Yeah, so that's why we are a free human. We are a free being. We're not like, confined to a place where we can't do our thing. So he gave us those choices to make. Now, the judgment day, we're going to answer for those choices that he gave us.
Yeah.
So he's not really holding us up accountable at this current world because it's a testing place.
Okay. And so does that include, now, was it good for Allah to command Muhammad, peace be unto him, to marry Aisha? Was that a good thing for Allah to do?
Yeah, so there's nowhere in the Quran where Allah ever commands Muhammad or any other Muslim to marry a child.
Mm-hmm. It's in the Hadith. So you're saying the Hadith is wrong?
Yeah, so the way the Hadith goes is...
Oh, where's M's at?
No, I remember the Hadith 100%. So back in the days, the time frame that they use on today's day is not the same. We cannot quantify what they used to use for those in age with their multiplication numbers with today's day.
If I can interrupt real quick. So we've got narratives directly from Aisha that talk about how the Prophet married her at 6 and then consummated at 9. So we've got direct narration from Aisha herself.
Yeah, I was not disputing that. And remember, it's not even the Prophet himself mentioning that. It was Aisha herself. Now, with her saying that, again, I'm telling you that the numbers they used back then is not the same quantifiable. Like, for example, in modern day Ethiopia, they don't use the same dates that we use. So when they're using those numbers, it does not really quantify to that actual 6 years old.
How old was she?
This is ad hoc.
Yeah, how old was she?
We can analyze how her older sister was, because her older sister was just 10 years difference between them. And at that time, she gave birth. So if you do the math,
I just need to hear how old she is. How old was she?
She was.
Just give us a number. She was 19.
She was 19. Yes.
And yeah, this is a retcon.
Yeah,
I've looked into. Yeah, I've looked into this, Abu. This is not accurate at all. We've got multiple converging lines of evidence where Aisha herself says it. So I mean, I just don't understand your point here.
So the ones where you're saying, Abu, that the ones where Aisha said herself that she was 9 years old when she gave birth, you're saying that's not true?
That's not true. Again, again, I'm telling you that the hadith is accurate, but the age they used back then is not the same as today. And I'm giving you an example with the modern day Ethiopia. Ethiopia is using a different calendar today. You cannot
right.
say we are living on the same age.
Well, let's give
Is
it
that
here.
true or
Let us
not?
hear some evidence on why. Give us like some scholarly evidence that it's not the same.
So we have actually, it's not a consensus. There are multiple scholars that actually believe what I say when he's 19, she's 19.
Not a consensus.
It's not a consensus.
Yeah. Okay. So it's not a consensus. So basically, this is just if it's not consensus, then it could either be true or not true.
Yeah. So yeah, of course, you have two different scholars arguing about the age, because when they use those age back then, the metrics is not the same as today. And again, this kind of to me is kind of irrelevant to what you were asking me, because this is, you're talking about God, and then you're bringing Muhammad in there. So, and then when I mentioned that in
I
the Quran,
asked
there's
if God
nowhere,
commanded Allah or Muhammad, peace be unto him, to
and I
marry
disputed that
Aisha.
because there's no verse in the Quran that says that.
And so if there's no, so you're saying Muhammad it didn't reveal, he didn't get a revelation to marry her?
So if you cannot find those verses in the Quran, then that means God did not instruct him to do so. And then when it comes to the hadith, it's just a misconception that people have till today, that they think that age 6 means 6 today. It does not mean that.
Okay, so what you're
Arabs
saying
use
then
those numbers.
is that even though Muhammad, so Muhammad did that all by himself, and you're saying then that is it still divine, for a prophet to marry a 19-year-old? 50-year-old prophet to marry a 19-year-old?
19-year-old is of today's standard is normal. But again, what I'm mentioning is that he has to take orders from God. And you cannot find anywhere in the Quran that says that. So that hadith can either be accurate or can be the other way.
Okay.
So,
So what I'm asking
again,
you-
he's not the one saying that. It's Aisha herself saying that.
Well,
Okay.
so I'm trying. Sorry to interrupt, Trust, but
No,
I'm
go
trying
ahead.
to work out the math here on the calendar thing. Because if you're saying that Aisha claimed she was 9, but she was in fact 19, that implies some kind of multiplier of more than 2 times, right? Because 2 times 9 is 18, so you're talking about a little bit more than that. Sorry, I'm getting a little bit into my
3 times 9 is 18.
Right, so it's a little bit more than 2
How is
times.
how is 3 times 9 18, bro? Really?
No, I didn't say 3, I said 2. 2 times 9 is 18.
Oh, okay.
Right, so it's a little bit more than 2, right? 2 and some change. So if you apply that to the 6 years old, right, that's only 12. Do you think that, like, even if we normalize it to your ad hoc kind of time frame here, you're saying that you're agreeing that the Prophet Muhammad married her when she was 12, and then was
No, he
gentleman enough?
didn't. He didn't marry her when she was tough. I want you to, let's even bring the hadith up so you can analyze it for a second.
Okay.
Her sister Asma'u, if you were to like Google check right now, fact check on that. How old was their difference, the age gap? Asma'u is 10 years older than Aisha. Now, Asma'u
we
was
can't
given.
no, we can't date Aisha's age through the age of her sister, like that.
Yeah. So that will give you where we derive the 19 from. Because again, when she was saying 6, people have misunderstood the hadith. When they migrated from Mecca to Medina, in the year 6 of that year, that's when Prophet Muhammad married her.
Okay. So are you telling me that Sahih al-Bukhari and Sahih Muslim are wrong? You reject those?
Yeah, so they're not prophets. They are human beings. They did good work with Islam, but again, they're not infallible. There are things that they do wrong, obviously, because based on narrations.
So you do reject it. Okay, and what objective standard are you using to determine that?
I'm not rejecting the hadith. I just told you I'm giving you the metrics on the why I accept the hadith.
Okay,
but
are they wrong? Are they wrong or are they correct?
They are correct with the hadith. They are correct because
they are
it's
correct.
not just
Okay, so the hadith, you just said the hadiths are correct.
Yes.
Okay, so that means Sahih al-Bukhari, where it says marriage at 6, consummation at 9, that's correct.
That's correct, yes.
Okay, so that means that Aisha was 9 years old when she got pregnant by Muhammad.
No, she was never didn't have a child. She never had any.
Okay, you just said it was correct.
Yeah, I said it's correct. The numbers that you mentioned, according to the hadith, is correct. But I'm giving you the event behind those hadith.
Okay, they can't be both correct and incorrect. Is the age correct or incorrect in the hadith?
The age used there? The numbers are correct. The age is not.
The numbers are correct. The age is not. I asked
Yes.
about the age. So if the age is not correct, then they are wrong.
Okay. I guess I'll go with
Then
that.
you reject
They're wrong.
you reject the hadiths then.
I did. Okay. Again, I'm not openly telling you I accept the hadith as it is.
Either
But
you
the event behind
reject it or accept it. It's one of the two.
No, because
Do you
because
reject it or
you
do you reject the
you are
hadith or
reading
do
the
you accept
hadith
it?
literal. You are reading the hadith literal. And the funny part is, I don't know how we
That's
are
not what I'm
jumping to
asking
a
you, Abu.
different tangent.
I'm asking you, do you reject or accept the hadith?
Allah never instructed Prophet Muhammad to
Okay,
marry
that's not what I
6-year-old.
asked. I'm asking you, do you reject or accept the hadiths?
I accept the hadith.
You accept the hadith, so then she was 9 years
Yes.
old.
Okay, fine.
Okay, so she was 9 years old when she had sex with Muhammad. Police be unto him. Now, it does say
So the thing is, again, you did not live back in those days. Whether she is 9 or whatever number, we don't know what is the metric of a woman at that time.
okay.
We don't know what age a woman become a woman.
Okay. So does the Quran say that the messenger of Allah is an excellent example?
Yes, he is an excellent example.
Okay.
Yes.
So are you saying then that he's an excellent example for for having sex with a 9-year-old?
Yeah, so the same standard you used back in the day is not the same standard you use today.
Okay.
Because
So
today,
is he
a 9-year-old,
is he still an excellent example today?
yeah, so there are things that only the Prophet, not just himself, can do. The followers, the believers cannot do. We cannot marry more than 4 wives. He
Okay.
can marry more than that. Like Solomon had 300 or whatever.
All
Like
right.
Musa had multiple. So we cannot have more than those thresholds that has been placed upon us. So there are things that only solely just belonging to those
All right.
prophets,
Let's
not
go
us.
to the
So Abu, just to enlighten you, this is called special pleading.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not pleading anywhere. I'm giving you
No.
facts.
Yeah, special pleading meaning that you're applying different rules to Muhammad than everybody else. 'Cause,
Yeah,
like,
So that's how Allah defined it. You cannot
right,
in the
in a
Quran.
specially pleading way.
It's
Yeah,
not
that's
specially. No, this is how God Himself.
is Muhammad special?
Yes, He is.
Okay.
Okay.
It's not like you and me.
That would be special pleading.
Yeah, yes. It doesn't matter. I mean,
Okay.
because hold on. Let me even give you an example of us between us right now. There are people that are extraordinary. They are not the same as you. As me and you. So we cannot really compare our is it IQ level or wealth or all those kind of societal standards. Some people are above others. So are they special pleading too?
Yeah. They would be.
No.
If you have set up special rules for them, then yes, it would be considered special pleading. So let's
Yeah,
read the
yeah.
let's read 33:21 here. So it says, indeed, it's a little cut off on my screen, but
Yeah, I remember the ayah. I know
with
that. I know this.
okay. So it says, yeah, so you have an excellent example in the message of Allah. You have an excellent example for whoever has hope in Allah and the last day. So that's anybody, right? So he's an excellent example for anybody, right?
Yeah, he's an excellent example to the believers.
Okay.
Correct.
So is it an excellent example for Muhammad to have sex with a 9-year-old?
Again,
That's an excellent example, yeah?
I already gave you the criterions or metrics that Allah has set for the Prophet himself. We are not to cross over that. We are not to.
Well, so Abu, if like so with going with the example here, would you follow in his footsteps as an example?
Are you not tracking what I'm saying, Rob? So
yeah, we are tracking what you're saying.
So,
it's not making sense. That's why we keep asking you.
Allah has made things just separate for the Prophet. So on those things, we cannot exemplify him, obviously. But on the things that both me and the Prophet himself have to do, then he's an excellent example for us.
Could you answer my question?
I just answered you the same thing. It's the same repetition, redundant.
Would you follow in Muhammad's footsteps and marry a 6-year-old and consummate at 9?
Again, that is not a standard being placed upon us. Only been placed separate to the Prophet, not us.
So why have Muslims generally, in the past interpreted this as being a solid reason to be able to marry children?
Yeah, so just as everybody else, every human have their own brain of reasoning, thinking that this is what the
Child
Bible
marriages are
is referring
happening
to.
now. It wasn't but maybe, what, 6 or 7 years ago that there was a child marriage thing that went on over there in the Middle East, and a child actually, unalived.
Maybe even in Iowa itself today, if you
One
were
just
to
happened
like
a few weeks ago.
even over here, I mean, we live in a free society. It's the same way in Iowa and Texas and all these places. There's
You
still
can't freely sleep with 9-year-olds. I'm
yes, you
sorry.
can. You can marry them.
No,
You can literally
no,
do. It is in the law.
No.
You cannot argue that.
No.
I can give
not
you facts on that.
9-year-olds. Like, if
No.
you want to make that argument, I think it's disgusting on Christians
No,
too,
no,
because
it's not.
it's a problem.
Listen,
It's a problem. It's a religious problem in general.
It's
marrying
not a
children.
religious problem. It's a human problem.
Okay. Well, we're kind of getting away from the weeds here. We're not talking
Oh,
about
yeah,
Texas.
so,
We're
yeah.
not talking about America. We're talking about Muhammad and
why
Quran and
that's
Islam.
that's hypocritical. So you
Not
are
hypocritical.
being a hypocrite right now.
No, you're
when
trying
you are
to
putting a
shift
standard
the goalposts because we're
I'm not
talking
shifting
about
no goalposts.
we're talking about your let's not crash out. We're
You
talking
say
about
Allah
we're
has
talking
instructed-
about
I said, give
okay,
me a verse. You can't
we
give
are
me those
talking
verses.
about your evidence that God is not evil, and it specifically says in here in the Quran, is the Quran from God, from Allah?
It is from Allah.
Okay,
creator
so
of all.
Allah then said that Muhammad is an exemplary example for anyone who has hope in Allah on the last day. So that's anyone who is Muslim. Yeah?
Correct.
Okay, and this excellent example of yours had sex with a 9-year-old. So that
Yeah. So
you're saying that's an
did
excellent
Allah,
example.
Can you find me a verse where Allah says Muhammad should marry a child? Can you give me that?
It says here we already established that.
No.
Okay.
No,
you
we
already
don't
made
esta-
you
no,
already made
you-
that
you-
point, and we already accepted that point.
You are jumping off
Okay, so
tangent.
you're
This don't make
shifting
sense.
you're shifting the goalposts here.
No,
so
you are doing that. You
it says
put
right
an
here.
accusation upon
Okay,
God, Allah,
I didn't
that
say.
he said
I
we-
did not say. Okay, we're crashing out here. I did not say that it's said in the Quran that Allah commanded Muhammad to marry and have sex with a 9-year-old. I didn't say that. It says it in the Hadith. I was very clear about that. But it says here in the Quran, you would agree that Allah says that the messenger is an excellent example. True or false?
Yeah, from what's been mentioned in the
Fantastic.
Quran.
So if it says he's
From
an
what
excellent
has been mentioned-
example,
again,
that means
hear me.
that it is an excellent example
From what is being mentioned in the Quran. So if
from a
there's none of
prophet
that
who,
such-
so then it is an excellent example to marry and have sex with a 9-year-old.
yeah, the prophet never did that. Again, I already told you that. he
Okay,
never
so
did.
now you're jumping on because you just acknowledged that he did.
No, I never acknowledged that. I never did. I told you the
said
numbers
that-
are right.
you
the
said
age
that-
is not.
Okay, but you said the hadith. Well, then that means you reject the hadith. You need to say, "I reject the hadith."
Okay, I guess for the sake of this argument, I reject the hadith because it's not coherent with the Quran at all.
Okay.
You're putting a blame upon God. That's your whole argument. And Allah never says for Muhammad to marry a child. Never.
Okay, so then we're going to ask, what objective standard did you use to determine which hadiths become unreliable? Do you reject all of the hadiths?
I do not reject all of the hadith.
Okay, so you don't. So you just reject these two.
Yeah. So because you're not using you're not using it to understand the Quran because it's an
What
open
is?
contradiction.
It's
to the
not
Quran.
about me. I'm asking you. What is the
It's-
objective moral standard that you use to reject it?
So I use the Quran as the moral standard to reject a hadith.
Okay, so you're saying that the Quran, you're using the Quran as the objective standard to reject the hadith. In what way?
Yeah. So because the Quran speaks about morality in a good way, it never
Okay.
says or instruct the Prophet or the believers to marry a child.
Okay, so you saying because it doesn't specifically instruct the prophet to marry a child, that never happened. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, it never happened. Yes.
It never happened. Okay. And how did you determine that to be true?
Yeah, because Prophet Muhammad is a prophet of Allah. He's been chosen by God. That means anything that does not come from Allah, he will not do that.
Yeah. So again, I'm asking you, how did you determine that to be true? Like, what method did you use?
I keep repeating myself. I use the Quran to determine that the Prophet did not do such sin because there's no place in the Quran that instructs the Prophet to do so.
Okay.
If you have
And-
a verse, please bring it up.
Again, there is no verse. We've already
Okay,
been
then
through this.
we move on from that. Then if that's an irrelevant
Well, no.
question.
So Abu,
keep-
you think that you've got a rescue here, but you really don't, because it's either Muhammad told him to marry a 9-year-old, or your God, Allah, specifically picked a prophet and made him special, even though he knew that he was a child trafficker.
Yeah, so
Which
you
one
know,
is it?
I'm sure you are using emotion to question this thing. Now you are saying
pretty
Allah said,
unemotional.
hold on. You are saying Allah said this and that. Now you can't bring me an evidence in the Quran, because Quran is the word of Allah, where Allah said Muhammad to marry a child, or
Did
any other
Allah-
believer,
Hold on, no,
or
no.
any other
I gave
Muslim.
you a dichotomous choice there, Abu. I said that it's either Muhammad told him to do it, or Allah picked Muhammad, even though he's a child trafficker and P3DO.
Yeah, so we can see that's not true. That's an accusation. He never even, the Prophet himself never said that with his own mouth. If you were to even look at the hadith that you keep using, the hadith is supposed to be about him, right? He's supposed to be the one saying things.
Did Allah pick
Hold
Muhammad?
on for a second. He's supposed to be the one saying things. So you have a hadith that is not the Prophet acknowledging things by his own mouth, but you are trying to pin the hadith upon him. That is absolutely invalid. That doesn't make sense.
No.
So it's
Did
like
Allah
it's
pick
like you
Muhammad?
doing something and you didn't write it on your mouth, and then
Did
I'm here
Allah
saying,
pick Muhammad?
accusing you of something that didn't happen.
Did Allah
Okay.
pick Muhammad?
Bro, let's move on to another question, bro, because this is not, we can't dwell on something that doesn't make sense. You cannot give me an evidence in the Quran, and you keep dwelling on those questions.
Because the answers you're giving are like nonsensical. So we're just trying to make sense out of it. So can you answer Godless Engineer's question?
I'm sure he's not an engineer.
No, yes, I am. I'm
Actually,
a working
yes.
engineer.
What
I
type of
work
engineer?
on helicopters. So did
Heck,
Allah
okay,
did
good.
Allah pick Muhammad as his prophet?
Yes, he picked Muhammad and Moses and Isa and Jesus, all of them.
Right.
as
Okay.
his prophet.
Did Allah ever revoke his endorsement of Muhammad as a prophet?
When Allah picked you as a prophet, he does not revoke your prophethood.
Okay. Yeah. So he picked a P3DO prophet. So I mean, it's either that or
Yeah. So that's just your own assumptions. That's your own accusation.
no.
that you
That's not
cannot
my
really
assumption.
justify.
That's just what the
Yes,
text says.
it is because you have a vendetta against them, and you want to use that just to justify whatever it is that you want to do.
I
Yes,
have as
we
much
cannot
of a-
give me a
We
verse
do
in
have
the Quran that
vendettas
says so.
against people who have sex with 9-year-olds. Yes, you are correct in that. That is a problem.
Yeah. So, but that's not true. That's not true. Oh, you still cannot substantiate your claim. You
Okay.
still cannot.
Okay, so was Muhammad following the Quran when it says when it does say to have a waiting period for those who have not menstruated?
Yeah. So, if you were to look at the history around that time, the people that were becoming Muslim they were not Muslims then; they were disbelievers. So it used to be in their culture to do such thing. You know, marry a woman that didn't have their menstruation. So Allah is giving jurisdiction to those when they came to ask him about, okay, now we have
Let's bring up
somebody
the,
that we married, but then this
bring up
that.
the verse.
This is what
As-
what you should do.
As for
Allah
your
is
women
saying,
past the age of menstruation, in case you do not know, their waiting period is 3 months, and those who have not yet menstruated as well. As for those who are pregnant, their waiting periods ends with delivery, and whoever is mindful of Allah, he will make their matters easy for them. So it says here, in case you do not know, and those who have not menstruated as well, their waiting period is 3 months. So
yeah, there's nothing
why
wrong with that.
would there be a divorce waiting period for prepubescent girls?
It never mentioned child in that verse.
Okay, so those who have not yet menstruated,
I double and triple dare you to show me the verse that mentioned a child.
those who
You
have
can-
not
you can
yet
use the Arabic
menstruated. Okay,
lexicon.
so are
You
you
can use
saying?
the Arabic lexicon that shows a child in that verse?
So are
Show
you
it to me.
telling me? Are you telling me then that this? Where does it say here that it doesn't? That it's not about little girls?
Well, you are bringing a verse, and you are going to that direction of saying a child. Now,
Abu.
within that verse that you are bringing,
Says it
please
right.
point
I'm
me
just
a-
reading what it says.
Okay,
just reading
then
what it
point me a
says.
place where it says a child in there.
Hey, Abu, when do girls first menstruate? Do you know?
Yeah, so that depends on the era of time. And
No, no, it really doesn't.
are you
That,
asking me
that,
of
actually
that
today's
really
particular
doesn't.
thing
medical
hasn't
research?
changed. No, that biological fact hasn't changed. Well,
Are
when,
you?
in
Yes, it
your
does.
view,
Yes,
when did it
it
happen?
has. Yes, it has, and it has done even today. If you look at the research from Hopkins today,
If
yes,
anything, they're actually starting menstruation earlier today than they were in the past.
yeah, like they actually from 9 years old now. Two of
Yeah.
them are case evidence that has been proven.
Yeah.
So
So
don't argue such
they're
things.
actually
That's
starting
nonsensical.
they're actually starting them earlier now. So help us out here. Help us out here. So you're saying to us this is not this says when those who have not menstruated, this is not talking about prepubescent girls.
Yeah, so it can be any woman. It can be an older
Okay.
woman.
Tell us.
Some of them.
Give us
be
the
a woman
evidence
that's
of that.
in her 30s, but she
Okay.
cannot
Give us
menstruate.
the evidence of that. What is your evidence of that?
Yeah, my evidence is the medical researches.
What medical research was available at the time?
Well, of today you can find that because anything that happened
I
back
didn't
in the
ask for
day, it will
today.
happen
I
today.
asked for
And
medical
you
research
will
that
see the
happened at the time.
similarities between. See,
Yeah, this
see
is
the
your
way
this is your
the DNA
burden.
works, the way
So
the way
tell
the
us.
nature works.
Okay, show us the medical research at the
I'm
time.
giving you a scientific fact. The way the science works is what happened back in the time, it will happen today.
Okay, so
Do you disagree
give
to
us the medical research from the time that demonstrates the age of these girls who
they don't
had
have
not
medical research
menstruated.
back then.
Okay, you just said they did.
I'm giving you today's evidence.
Okay, I'm not talking about today's evidence. We're not talking about today's evidence. What were they talking about here? And when it says, and those who have not menstruated as well, who were they talking about?
So I was gonna just from my own wheelhouse here. The Talmud actually records that in the first century, girls were going through puberty around 12 and a half years old.
Around
So
12.
like, yeah. So when I said that it didn't change that much, like
Really
I'm
hasn't.
just saying,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yes,
I mean, yeah, there's early
you
people,
are only looking
but
at one.
it still hasn't
This is
changed.
the
Yeah.
problem of this. There are actually evidences, and actually, if I have the chance right now, I'm going to share my screen to show you studies on that. Many. It's not even two, multiple. From 9 years old and 12, they all have menses today. So stop arguing on things you don't know yet. Maybe go do more research.
Again, you haven't answered my question. What was my question?
Okay. I told you back then there are disbelievers that were joining Islam.
That's not what I'm asking you.
No, I'm answering you the verse that you bring about.
I asked you what was my question.
The question is why are they not menstruating if they're not a child?
No, that's not what my question was. Do you
So
need me
what's
to
your
repeat my
question?
question? My question was, show us documentation of the ages of the girls who first started menstruating at that time.
Did you read the verse?
Documentation?
Did you read the verse?
That's not an answer to my question.
No,
What
so
is the document?
My reply
What is the
my
document?
response to you because your question is irrelevant to the verse.
Okay, that's answering a question with a question. What
Yeah, but
evidence
it's
do you
irrelevant
have?
to the verse. The verse did not mention
What
a
evidence
child.
do you
Why
have?
are you asking that question?
What evidence do you have of the ages of these females who were not yet menstruating? Of these women/girls? What age were they?
So again, I'm gonna answer you. So you shouldn't cut me off when I'm answering that, please. I will appreciate.
Okay, you haven't answered it. I just need an age.
So I'm trying to, but you're trying to
just
cut
give
me
me
off.
an age. Just give me an age.
No, I can't give you an age because there's no such thing.
There's no such thing.
There's no such thing. Then they don't document those things. It's not in record.
Okay.
How about an age range?
Yeah,
Like,
give us an
you
age
can
range.
give a range.
Bro, if God will tell you the age range, he will say that in that verse. He didn't say a child. We know he's referring to women. So if you cannot bring me a verse in that verse that said a child, then we are done with this argument. You keep running off tangent that doesn't make sense.
Right. So
You guys are not. Yes.
You claiming that, oh, this is about women doesn't really clarify anything because they considered women to be, marriageable girls after they've gone through puberty.
Yeah.
And so like that doesn't actually clear up anything. We're still questioning like when in your view, when does puberty occur and everything?
I think godless, maybe the better way to ask this is what kind of women is this referring to then? Who exactly is Allah referring to here? In 65:4.
Yeah. So We have today adult women that do not menstruate.
Okay, I'm not asking about today. I'm asking who is Allah
Well,
referring to.
wait, is the Quran of all time? It's of all time. It doesn't have a specific time. What are you talking about? I'm a Muslim, so I have to adhere to that verse in the Quran. So Allah is not replying to those past tense. He's talking about keep on and keep on, because Quran is out of time. It's not in time.
Oh,
Here
we go.
Can you hear me?
Yep, we can hear you. Go ahead, Ems.
Yes, so Abu Muhammad, yeah, the Quran is referring to children specifically in this verse.
No, it is not.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
No,
Could
it
you
is
show me
not.
how you can? Could you show me how you can exclude children? Go ahead.
Yeah, so can you show me where the verse says a child in there, please?
Yes, what it says, وَلَا لَمْ يَحِدْنَا, the lam negates all the past up until the present, which includes anyone who hasn't menstruated in the past up until the present. So you'd have to show me an exclusion criteria.
I think you're just yapping. Show me the verse that
I'm
says
not, you're
child.
just stupid. Again,
not
it says,
yapping.
وَلَا
Oh
لَمْ
yeah,
يَحِدْنَا.
yeah, yeah.
He just
You're
gave
yapping
you- he
because
just gave you
when
the
Allah
evidence.
when Allah mentioned about a child, he will say a child. You can see what do a baby
It says
in
a
the
child.
Quran.
It does
He
say
will,
a
he will,
child. Yes,
he
it
is
does say a
precise
child.
with his
It
choice
does
of
say,
words.
it does say a child. Yes,
Hold
it
on,
does-
hold on.
it does
I
say a
just
child.
yapping right now. You're
It
talking
does say a
nonsense.
child. It
Show
does
me
say
the
a
verse that
child.
says a child in there.
It
You
says
can't
وَلَا
find
لَمْ
it.
يَحِدْنَا,
So
which
stop
means a
arguing, bro.
child.
I'm muting
Again,
you, Abu.
وَلَا لَمْ
Okay.
يَحِدْنَا, which means a child. Yes.
I can highlight the specific area. Which one
Holmes is
is
not
it?
the hero. He doesn't even. He's just speaking nonsense. Bring me
Yeah,
the
I
verse.
You're
didn't.
just
I
stupid.
didn't unmute you. I didn't unmute you. So hang on. Okay, your women. You don't.
وَاللَّهِ لَمْ يَحِدْنَا, again, that by literally by even the words of the Prophet. In,
Yeah, can you mute
when
him
you-
too? Because he can't be yapping on my ears, bro. I can't.
No,
No.
Abu Muhammad, you're gonna shut the fuck up and you're gonna listen. Because again,
Yeah,
you
cooked,
don't
bro.
even know
You
what you're
cannot.
reading.
You cooked here.
I'm cooked. MashaAllah.
I'm even bake you too.
MashaAllah.
Fahimtun?
Bake me while being muted, MashaAllah. So, again, وَاللَّهِ لَمْ يَحِدْنَا is referring to children. According to your Prophet's words.
Yeah.
Give me a hadith on that.
You
Coward.
can find it in the...
أنت حمار وكلب.
طب قصوا مين أمك يا ابن البنتك؟ إيه رأيك؟
وأنتم يا شيخ.
All right. Are you? Yeah.
Like he's trying so hard to speak Arabic, and he's butchering the language in such a way that's embarrassing.
أنا
Like,
عربي.
do not try to speak a language when you're gonna butcher it. You make yourself look like a fool. Like imagine trying to insult
Anybody
somebody.
that knows me knows I'm.
Imagine trying to insult somebody, and your grammar is so
اسكت
broken
كما سكت.
that you insult
اسكت
yourself.
كما سكت.
All right. So, okay. So, well, Ems, thank you for
So
clearing
you
that
can-
up. Yeah, we're gonna drop
Clear
it
them
now.
what up. Clear them what
All
up.
right. Appreciate you, sir.
That is insane. Of course. Have a beautiful day.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Have a great day.
What the
All
fuck?
right.
They changed the thingy for guests. Anyways.
Okay. All right. Have a good day. Quick.
Yeah, I tried not to interrupt too much there on
Mm-hmm.
you. Tried to let you kind of handle that. I do need to go too,
All
but
right.
it was awesome hanging with you for a second there, Trust. I
Yeah,
hope you
awesome
have
hanging with you.
a good time.
Thank you.
Yep.
Appreciate you. Stay
Yeah.
safe. All right.
All
Take
right,
care,
you
Godless.
too.
Everybody follow
Bye.
Godless Engineer on the way out. He's a great content creator.
Thank you so much.
All right, see ya. All right. So that was fun. Yes, and special thanks to Ems as well. So, hey, oh, they're here. All right. Look what I got. What I got from you guys. So, Godless, Girls Gone Godless is here. At least one of the three, right? Okay. So let's see what we got from Girls Gone Godless. So we got a nice little card. Look at that. Perfect motif for Girls Gone Godless. Ah, yes. Stickers. So we got stickers. Thank you so much. And it says, Trust, thank you for always being a cheerleader for GGG. And I always will be. So you are the best. Oh, thank you guys. You guys are very, very kind. Thank you so much. Aaliyah, Christina, Noe. Thank you. You guys are very cool. Very, very cool. Thank you so much. So I'm going to put one in my water bottle right now. I'm going to put it right there. So here we go. There it is. Yeah. Look at that. Look at that. Thank you so much. Look how cool that looks. And it's perfect, like perfect colors and everything. Thank you. So Girls Gone Godless are a trio of amazing creators. So we have one of them here. They're pasties. Oh, they're pasties. But they are an amazing trio of creators. They have a podcast called Girls Gone Godless. It's on Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts, YouTube, all that good stuff. And I was one of their guests, and they named me an honorary Girl Gone Godless. So I'm very honored by that. So I take that distinction seriously. So yeah. But they have had on their guests on their podcast some very notable names like Born Again Atheist, like Joel and Mezzo, like Christ Before Jesus. So they've had some names that we know, and including me, and including little old me. So, you all know me here, but so yeah, and I got one more. So I don't know what I'm going to do with this one. I don't know. I'll find a good place. I'll find a good home for this one. All right. So thank you so much. That is very, very kind of you. That's really, really cool. So now, yeah, see, everywhere I go, I'm going to advertise for you all. Look at that. Very cool. So, oh, we have 2/3. Two out of the 3. Hello.
I heard Girls Gone Godless like 25 times being mentioned, and I was like,
Right.
"Oh, I'm gonna wake up from my nap right now," because that's what was happening. I had dozed off a little bit, and I heard our names mentioned, and I was like, "Let me come on up here. Look at you
Yeah.
with your Girls Gone Godless
With my stickers. I know I'm officially a Girl Gone Godless. I know it's
I mean,
been
you've
an
been
honorary.
an official one, but yeah,
but
that
it's now
just
like official,
solidifies it.
right? Yeah. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
officially official. And I got a cool card from you all.
I
Such
know.
a sweet card. You guys are so awesome. You
We're
guys are
sweet,
amazing.
but we're also sour. Like we're Sour Patch Kids, basically.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So thank you so
but yeah, I
much.
heard you mention we do have a podcast. It's called Girls Gone Godless. We're on a little bit of a hiatus right now because life is lifing, but we're here on TikTok. We have 33 episodes that you guys can go back and listen to if you haven't listened yet.
Lots of content to go look at. Yeah, absolutely.
So much good content. We also have some episodes up on YouTube. Oh, am I getting kicked? Is that what that means?
No, you're exempt. but whoever got that, let's see, Lachey did it. You have a coupon for an early kick poll. Congratulations. So thank you. Oh, and Cyber Deconstruction, thank you for the future encounter thing. Thank you for that. Appreciate you. Anyway, you were saying.
Yeah, no, that was a really cool gift, the future thing from Cyber. I hadn't seen that one before either.
I haven't seen it either. So that was really cool. Thank you.
But yeah, everybody go check out Girls Gone Godless.
Everybody go check them out. They are amazing.
We're pretty great. Trust episode is called Neckbeard. God is a neckbeard.
God is a neckbeard. Exactly. God is a neckbeard.
Yeah.
That's exactly
And then my episode on my backstory is touched by an angel Moroni in the strip club. So if you want to
We got that far yet. Okay, I gotta go watch that one. All right.
that one's that's my backstory. I think it's our second episode.
Oh,
so.
Speaking of which, I have to invite up Lobes real quick because there's something fun that's gonna happen tomorrow night at 9 o'clock Eastern time. And yeah, at 9 o'clock, Lobes and I are gonna be launching All Righteous Atheists. 9 o'clock Eastern time. Yes.
All right. Yes.
All right, just
did you get my message, by the way?
Yeah, I did. I just haven't had a chance to respond. It's been a crazy couple days, but I did get it. So, yeah, I'll get back to you on that. I shall respond to you on that. But yeah, so tomorrow, 9 o'clock Eastern, All Righteous Atheists. And that is Lobes
That's
and
awesome.
me.
That's so exciting.
Yes. Very exciting. So it's a joint between Lobes and myself, and it's going to be fun. It's going to be lots and lots of fun. So if y'all can make it, that would be great. And there goes Lobes. See ya, Lobes. Yeah. So not a lot of, oh, wait, here's a, Okay. So we got mic drop. Hello, mic drop.
Yellow.
Hello. Says you're a friend here. I'm not sure which friend you are. But anyway,
My other troll name is
Oh,
or
gotcha.
Rojogan.
Okay, it's this one. Oh, okay. I know who you are. Okay, gotcha. Okay. So,
Rojogan.
yeah, Rojogan. Okay, Rojogan. Wow. Okay. Well, this is like 2 Muslims in a row. This is a bit awkward. So,
All right. So
yeah.
where did we leave off last time?
Well, this was God existing, right? But today we're talking about God not being evil.
Okay. So what grounds morality in naturalism?
What grounds morality and naturalism? Well, first, let's answer the question. What's your best evidence God isn't evil?
What's the best evidence that God is not evil?
Yeah.
Well, he has none. Look at that.
Yeah, I mean, so the God of the Quran.
Wait, hold on. Are you
is
driving?
important. Sorry?
Are you driving?
No.
Okay. All right, sorry. God of the Quran.
Yeah, so the God of the Quran is the creator of the universe, and therefore everything that's good in the universe is from God.
Okay.
Everything absent of this good is evil.
Okay. Everything absent of good is evil by definition. So we've defined this God into existence.
No, we've established why anything is good or bad in this universe.
We've
Otherwise,
established
we have no grounding.
Okay.
Yes.
Otherwise, we have no grounding. Okay. Well, let's just say I have no grounding. So this is testable, right?
When you say testable, are you trying to? What do you mean testable? Like in a science lab or using logic?
Yeah, we can test it logically. We can apply moral principles to it, see if it holds up. If this God is all good and everything good comes from this God, then we should be able to test that, right?
So you're saying you want to test moral principles using some sort of paradigm outside of God?
Well, we can test it within the worldview. We can do that, right?
When you say worldview, are you saying
your worldview?
Are you saying subjective views of people or collective views of people? Well, in my worldview, God exists. So
yeah. So if God exists, and you said everything good comes from God, right? That is at least part of your worldview, right?
Yeah, everything that God wills or does is good.
Everything that God wills or does is good. Okay. And so so all his actions and his deeds and his words are all good, right?
Yes.
Fantastic. Okay.
This will be easy.
So in that sense then, does that mean all the suffering that God allows is good?
Yes, ultimately.
Ultimately? Okay. So, animals being eaten alive, you agree they suffer?
Yeah, in our paradigm, the animals that suffer in this world will get their recompense in the hereafter as well.
Okay. So they suffer now and get paid later.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And so that means the ends justify the means?
The ends justify the means.
Yeah.
For God.
Since they'll get their recompense later, it's fine. It's good that they suffer now.
Yeah, for God, ends justifies the means. But
okay. Only for God, the end justify the means? Yeah,
because every action of God is good.
because every action of God is good. Okay. And so simply because they get their recompense in the afterlife, it is fine that they suffer now. And what moral principle does that follow?
Justice.
Justice.
In your worldview, you have a bigger problem than us because.
Oh, hold on. We're
yeah,
still
in
not done
your
here.
worldview,
Well, no.
there's only
I
suffering.
accepted your worldview, so I'm still trying to make sense of this. So
Yeah, we're
hold on.
comparing.
Well, let's not.
Can we
I'm not
compare
comparing. I'm not
for
comparing
10
anything.
seconds?
Well, no. It's
Just for
I'm
10
not
seconds. Can you compare?
Well, no, I'm not comparing anything yet because I'm trying to still make sense of your worldview. Okay. So.
Yeah, in your worldview,
yeah,
there's still suffering, right?
Well, I know you want to pivot, but we're not done yet. So
It's not a
help me
pivot.
out.
I mean, I just
Well, no, it's
want
a
you
huge
to think
pivot.
for yourself.
It's a huge pivot, my guy. It's
How is it a huge pivot?
Well, because we're
So
still
in your
talking.
worldview, there's still suffering.
We're literally not done talking about your worldview, and you're trying to jump to my worldview.
Okay, that's fine.
It's that or whataboutism. It's one of the two. But I'm already saying I'm just gonna say I don't have any explanation for that. I have no grounding. So if I have no grounding, Mike, then your God is the source of all goodness. Everything that your God does is good. I'm trying to understand then, in what moral principle.
Yeah, how does that change? Well,
hold on.
Yeah, how does that change the idea of actual suffering?
Well, I'm trying to understand how the ends justify the means. Like, what moral principle does that follow? Whoa. A lot of echo.
Justice. I mentioned it. Justice.
Yeah, justice. How is it? Okay, so so isn't just essentially when beings get what they deserve?
Justice is the things will be in the appropriate places in the hereafter.
Yeah, in the hereafter. And then how do we know that they're going to be recompensed in the hereafter?
Evidence based on natural theology and special revelation. Yeah.
How is special revelation evidence? Because then that would mean Mormonism is true. Oh, we have an Exmo. Look at that.
Hey, I'm right here.
Yeah.
Joseph Smith was a prophet who was also illiterate and wrote scripture, and people believe that to be true.
Mormons claim special revelation. Yeah.
Dum.
I don't disagree. There are many overlapping beliefs out there that are false, but this is a red herring. Bringing
not really.
Mormonism,
No, it's a symmetry. It's a symmetrical analysis. So we're just trying to analyze if Joseph Smith had special revelation, and you're saying that that Allah there's a recompense for animals suffering, or anyone suffering for that matter, in the afterlife because of special revelation. I'm trying to understand how they got completely different special revelation than you did.
Oh, well, that's a different discussion, right? So I don't disagree. There are false beliefs out there that claim to have revelation, that claim to have the truth. I don't disagree with that.
Yeah. So how do we? What's the symmetry breaker? How do we figure out which one is the true belief? Did we lose him? I think we might have lost him.
Mic dropped.
I think so.
Sick.
He's taking a page out of my book. I don't know what happened, but my whole app just took a major diarrhea. I couldn't even log back in.
I think the app is having issues today.
I had to reset. I had to restart my phone.
Oh, that's wild. Yeah, because folks were saying that I was choppy when I first started, and I think some people might still be seeing me as choppy. Yeah, the app is choppy, so looks like there's some issues today. Yeah.
Well, what were you saying when I when I lost connection?
Oh, well, he said that it was. Oh, what was I saying? It was.
We're
back
talking
when
about
Ara. I was saying, that I did read your text. I just haven't had a chance to respond yet.
Okay. Did you see the little clip?
Yes, I did. I just haven't. Yeah, I was like, oh, that's cool. But I was going to give you like, something thoughtful rather than just like a thumbs up emoji. You know what I mean?
Right. Okay. Cool. Yeah.
I want to actually give you feedback, but it's been like yesterday and today have just been kind of wild.
Yeah, we should at least text each other later tonight so we can, because there's like little details,
Yeah, and we got to get like the screen all worked out too.
We should put that little thing that I sent you. We should put that in the corner, like a little emblem in the corner.
Yeah, I can do that. That's not a problem. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can do that. Not a problem. Not a problem. Oh, we got another guest. Not meek and mild.
Hello.
Yeah. Hi, how's it going?
Good. How are you?
Doing well. Are you at least 18? And which pronouns would you like us to use for you?
I am at least 18, and it would be she and her.
Okay, fantastic. Okay. And then which God do you believe in? The God of the Bible, the God of the Torah, or the God of the Quran?
Yeah, so I'm not trying to be evasive with my answer. I've called myself a Christian for 20 years. I wasn't raised Christian, though. So, and the version of becoming Christian that I found started with theism, like an experiential, sort of a theistic prayer and response and all of that. So I think
Jesus your personal savior?
Yeah, so I think what I want to talk about, though, is not so much the Bible and the fundamentalist worldview, but theism in general as like a prayer, as a real thing that's like the relationship with God.
Well, we're talking about the best evidence that God is not evil. That's the question up.
Yes,
on the
and
board
so
today.
what I would say, and I can answer that. But the problem is, I know the first step a lot of deconstructionists want to take is to make God an object and then define it. But like, to me, that's not my experience over the last 20 years, is having a definition of God as an object, but rather it's been a relationship with something good.
Does God have God has a mind? You said something good. God has a mind? Is God you believe in?
Again, what I want to talk about is the evidence that God is not evil, but it's hard for me to talk about it in terms of without relational discussion. Like it's about the relation. That's my evidence. So I wanted to talk about that. My evidence has to do with
Hitler and Nazi Germany had relations, right? He had a wife, he had a dog, he had friends, things of that sort. But we can safely call Hitler evil. Right?
Correct.
Okay. So, whether or not a relational thing, I mean, we can still
So
determine whether or not this God is evil, right?
Yeah. So what I would say, or the evidence I would have, is that the relationship, like I personally have only experienced what I've experienced. And before you dismiss it and say, oh, it's anecdotal and you could be delusional, just like hear me out, because this is actually an argument. It's not just me testifying. Okay. So if it's true that theists, people who have a relationship with God or understand God, even though they have differences, Mormons and Islam and all those folks have differences, right? Even if there seem to be differences, if they have more in common than they have differences, even if they don't believe it, even if they fight about it, if I'm saying it objectively, ontologically, if there's more in common between theists than non-theists, then I want to talk about why God is good, and we misunderstand, but it can be a good relationship that has good results.
Well, you can have a good relationship with an evil person, right?
No,
you can't.
Definitely not. I've tried.
You cannot.
I tried and it failed.
Okay,
no,
so
you cannot.
Sorry, one more time.
I cannot have a good relationship with an evil person. I said.
Okay, well, you
can't have a good relationship with an evil person. What if that somebody doesn't know? Like, what if you don't know that they're doing evil? Like, what if the evil is behind your back?
I've been there. It took me a while to figure it out. So yes, I've experienced.
So you can't.
No, I can't have a good relationship. I can have a dysfunctional relationship with an evil person, and hopefully through, actually, ironically, therapy and, good people giving advice, but also God, prayer and response and discernment, I'll get out of that eventually.
Could it start
Right?
good and then go sour?
Usually, right?
Usually, yeah.
pretty much.
Okay.
What if the evil's not happening to you?
Yeah. And you don't
Well,
see
it would be. I don't believe in that because I don't believe that somebody's good to one person and evil to another. I think they're going to be, if they're a bad person, they're going to do harm.
Do you know who the
Have you ever,
hold on? Do you know
have you
who
ever,
the
like, gone at,
Hold on, Willows. Do you know who the BTK unaliver was? Serial unaliver is?
Sorry, maybe not. What does BTK stand for? Sorry.
Bind, torture, unalive, but the K word.
Oh.
That was his initials.
Okay.
He was a serial unaliver. He went by the initials
no,
BTK, and he was a family man. He raised, he was married, had daughters, had children, was, coached sports, coached Little League, went to church, was a pillar in the community. And then, in his spare time, he wrote taunting letters to the police talking about all his unalivings, right? Dennis Rader, that was his name. And everyone was blindsided by when they finally caught him. And they caught him, you know how they caught him, incidentally? Because he sent them a disc of something. There was something he sent them. He sent them like some disc, some computer disc, and it had like in one of the files it had his name in there or something like that, and they traced it back to him.
Oh, really?
So he gave them evidence. Yeah, he screwed up. So yeah, everyone was completely blindsided, and then he ended up pleading guilty. And he's serving life in prison without parole, right? So that's an example of an evil person who can have relationships,
But I didn't say just relationships. I said so the way I would define a good relationship with God is that it bears fruit in my life and the lives of those around me. It improves my character, it improves circumstances, and it makes me a better person in society for others as well.
Okay.
So it's all dimensions of good.
Okay.
Yeah, all good.
Okay. So so are there people then, now why doesn't God do this for everybody then?
I think God would and could. I'm not someone who says, oh, well, God picked me, but didn't pick you. I don't think that way, right? I don't think that that's like that.
Well, it would seem like he didn't pick animals because animals suffer all over the place, right? Needlessly, it seems. So why wouldn't God do the same for them that he does for you?
People do too. People suffer too. I mean, I've suffered. I'm not without suffering.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. That goes without saying. But I'm talking about animals though, right? Like, there's animals that get eaten alive, right? There's animals that are born with, congenital defects. I just saw a video last night. A lion like swiped at a hyena and broke its spine and its back and paralyzed its two rear legs. So that hyena had to like drag itself, two hind legs to get away. Yeah. And and we've seen those videos of like zebras getting eaten alive, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So why would God allow that if he's good?
Well, I mean, and I promise I'm not trying to be a pain in the butt or a Philbro girl or anything. But again, we're talking about like this okay, so I get what you're saying. You're saying, well, if it's relational, why can't these animals all individually build this positive relationship with God that makes their lives better?
Because like one of the signs of a sociopath is that they allow and they like animal torture and suffering. Like they're very indifferent to it, or they watch it, they allow it, they get off on it, etc. So it would seem that, like, does your God have the power to stop animal suffering?
No, that's a good question. I'm pausing because I try not to just like jump at an answer, right? I'm trying to digest it. Yeah, let me think about how I want to respond to that. Because like the hard part is I don't know what it's like to be an animal, right? I know what it's like to look from the outside and see those things, and I find it terrible, right?
Yeah.
but I don't know if they have like the same conscious, I don't know about the animals, like, and their relationship with God. I think like if there's a heaven that all the animals would be there because, you know, they're not bad, you know, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if there's something uniquely human that has to do with like that relationship. I don't know. You know what I mean? I don't have all the answers. I'd have to think about it, but you know, is there something about God relating with humans? And if it is the Christian God, which I don't want to get into biblical stuff right now because I haven't had dinner.
We'll stay far away from the Bible if you want. We can stay far
let's
away
stay
from
far
that.
away from that for now.
It's
I'll
fine.
do it
We'll
another
stay
day.
far away.
Not today.
But yeah, but help me out
um,
here. Did he have the power to make things good in your life?
Yeah, well, so I want to be totally honest. I'm a critical thinker. I wasn't a theist for, you know, 30 years. So if I got evidence now, right, if it was not true that the years of growth and positive change and transformation that seem to be based on this life of prayer and response and, you know, going with the guidance that seemed to be coming from this God, this greater, you know, full power, if that turned out to be false, I'd change my mind, right? Like if it didn't work, yeah, I would.
Okay.
And frankly, the only reason we're talking right now, to be full disclosure, is because I hung on, you know, I spent several years having a very bad suffering experience, right? Where I'm like, well, how can this still be real? But what I can tell you is that even in all the bad stuff, it still becomes helpful to navigate toward theism and act as if God is real and pray and do all that. It moves me forward. Like even secular resources and the right people, all of those things are part of that. So I don't believe I'm up in the clouds, just me and God. It's moving toward, based on that worldview, almost like having a hypothesis and using the scientific method. Okay, it's like, well, my hypothesis is that theism is true and there's a God. And so I try prayer and, you know, meditation and mindful, all the things that pursue this God. And if it works positively, I keep going with it, right?
Okay.
Like I don't rule it out.
Let me ask you a question. So since you brought up the scientific method, there's this piece to it that a lot of people don't know about, and it's called the method of materials step.
Okay.
You aware of that? And are you aware of that?
No, tell me. Well, maybe not. Tell me what it is. And
what it is that the scientist who's conducting the experiment has to state what their method is, like write out what their method is of experimentation, how they're going to conduct the experiment, the steps they're going to take, what materials they're going to use, and then they have to write out all the ways that they could be wrong. So so what things could, like what results would falsify their experiment. So since you are saying that you use the scientific method, what things could falsify your belief that God is good or God worked in your life? God did good things in your life.
Yeah, it's funny that you asked this, actually, because I literally just thought about this the other day. ChatGPT asked me this because I talked the same question, right? Because I talk about, you know, my journey and all that. Well, I will tell you this. The first 30 years of my life, I was an agnostic atheist, right? Okay. So it's not that I don't have any experience with being an agnostic atheist. And I'm not blaming being an agnostic atheist for the quality of life and all the bad things that happened, because bad things have happened when I was a theist too.
Can I stop you one second? Just curious, why were you an agnostic atheist?
Well, I was raised by like doctors, scientists, brilliant atheistic agnostic, you know, thinkers who taught me that, religion's the root of all evil, and fundamentalism is bad, which, by the way, I agree with them about that. And that, God is just like a figment of your imagination. It's not real. It's God of the gaps. It's people who don't know science, all that kind of stuff, right? All the stuff that a lot of people believe, right? That there's a science versus faith. Like you can't have both.
Stardust.
So that's what I grew up believing.
Okay.
Actually, that's what I learned. So when I went to college and I did philosophy, it was like a college too that tended to be very secular. So all the philosophers, like nobody was really theistic. I won't say I've tried atheism and it failed me. I'm just going to say that once I move toward, this path of exploring spirituality and
Okay, I
prayer
gotcha.
and all those, it got better. So that's my evidence. But no, hold on, let me answer your question. I took too long, but what would falsify it now? Okay,
Yeah,
so
what would falsify it?
one thing, yeah. If I had alternative explanations that were proven to me, because I love science, right? I come from a family of very smart, science-oriented people. I'm not against science. If I had explanations proven, not that anything can be totally proven, right? But lots
What's an
of data
example?
that
Yeah, what's an example of something that could be proven to you that would falsify
So
it?
one of
Just
the
give us,
theories, right? Okay, so one of the theories that most atheists or deconstructionists have is that there's like this sort of religious delusion that all these billions and millions of people are just kind of like God of the gaps. Like we have theories, right, about why us delusional theists believe in God, right? Different reasons. If there was something that showed me that my brain was doing that, right? Like, I don't know what that experiment would look like or what that data set would look like. But if there was something that showed me how all of those experiences over the last 20 years that felt very real, and it wasn't just like a belief system, it was like a whole lifestyle. If there was something that showed me what was really going on and it wasn't real, right? And that could be demonstrated to me how that works, then I'd believe that.
Now, how did you determine then that it was actually a God that did all these experiences and not something else?
So this is
like, how did you rule out other
you
things? Yeah, how did you narrow it down to it has to be a God? Like all the other things that it could be, how did you how did you rule all those out?
Yeah, no, so that's a fair question, and I appreciate you listening to me long enough to get to that, because a lot of people are like, oh, this is anecdotal, and it's not really, it's an argument. You might not agree with it, but it is an argument. So what I would say is that having had 30 years of experience as a pretty smart and well-educated atheist agnostic, and then sort of trying, how like, what is it, Mezzo, he says try atheism for a week, right? He'll say try it for a week and see what happens. Trying theism in a pragmatic sense of like, okay, let me try praying, let me do all the things that I would do if I believed. I'd have a community, I'd read devotional literature, etc. If I tried all that, so if this is what I'm going to tell you, if the results of that were negative and adverse and harmful and bad, then I'd turn away from it, right? It's very pragmatic. It's like a practical realism.
So they had to be negative and
can I hop
bad?
in?
Yeah, go
bad.
ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
So what I want to say is that, like, have you heard of Britt Hartley? She is no nonsense.
Spirituality?
No nonsense.
It's this concept that like religion is just a technology that we as humans created. And by technology, she means it's a thing that can create shortcuts for us, like in our mind, like as humans. Like there's just, when you are part of a religion, there are things that you just don't have to think about. These things are just explained to you, whatever, blah, 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 blah. So like in a scientific kind of theory way, I would think that that would be kind of like the starting point into like some further research. So when I think about that, I think about something that Trust does bring up is that like there are examples of where your brain lights up when you're having a religious experience. And they tie those same like areas in the brain to when you're having like episodes of psychosis. So there's a theory as to why we have religion, why we co-evolved with religion as a humanity and a society. And then there is physical data and evidence of what's going on in people's minds when they are having these religious experiences.
Yeah, the hard part is causation's not correlation. Correlation's not causation. So you could say, yeah, my brain lights up because my body is aligned in one dimension with my experience and spiritual, whatever it is, soul or whatever it is, that makes sense that things would happen that align rather than it being causal.
And it could also be lighting up because of a delusion. So what's the symmetry breaker? Yeah.
So here's what I'm going to say.
Because it looks very much the same. Yeah.
Yeah, but falling in love also lights up those parts, and that's not a delusion; it's an experience.
Right,
but,
right. But then there's other things like falling in love, like experiencing the emotion love.
Falling in love, that doesn't light up the same place as like psychosis. That's measurable with oxytocin, right? It's a different
oxytocin, and then the amygdala.
So I
activates.
just want to answer your question. I think it's more reasonable as a very intelligent woman with 30 years of experience being a critical thinker, for me to not think, to be more likely to believe that what I'm experiencing and navigating toward, and it's very pragmatic, is something pointing to something real rather than that I'm suddenly delusional, right? Like, I think it's actually pretty reasonable for me not to believe that I'm delusional
Okay.
for no reason,
No.
right? Like, why would I? And also, hold on,
No,
billions of
I hear what you're saying. Yeah, that makes sense on many levels, right? I think
Okay.
though that the challenge for me and Aaliyah is that
Yeah.
when we have like your experiences, and then we can line up all these experiences that people have and pluck out all
Yeah.
the similarities, and then y'all come to very drastic different conclusions over what you saw, what you experienced, and what's true for you, right?
Yeah.
And so you would agree as a critical thinker that
Yeah.
truth is objective, right? It's not subjective, it's objective.
Yes,
Yeah,
I would
like
agree. But
yeah, like 2 + 2 = 4 objective. So
yeah.
then how do we explain then? Because like I said, I have talked to people who have sworn, like a Hindu monk who swore that he had an experience with the singular consciousness and that it downloaded a whole bunch of information to him, and he knows all these things now, and he knows for sure that the Hindu gods are all real. And another lady tell me, who believes in the Greek god Apollo, that she talked to Apollo, and she felt Apollo's hand on her shoulder, and Apollo gives her advice, and she erected a shrine in his name or in his honor, and that she regularly prays to him, and all these things happen. So if that's all the case, these people are having these different experiences. What's a method that you could give us to differentiate and distinguish who has the true experience?
Yeah, and so this is where maybe I'm a bit of a mystic, right? Like, I actually still believe that we have more in common than we have difference. So I don't think I do think reality is objective, right? It's not like we just invent things and they're, if I see, well, actually, if you think about light in our eyes, the way we see color is impacted by, you can see things differently, but it's still one reality. I agree that matter is real and it's one thing. But what I would say is that it could be the case that there's something God, and this is why I've stayed away from this whole like trying to define God as an object and then go from there, because it may be true that something real is happening and for someone else, and they have a different kind of, it's almost like epistemology versus metaphysics, right? There's something happening that isn't fully understood, and we all relate differently to it, and it might be explained differently.
Well, it still could be then the case then that nothing's happening, right? That's still possible.
Like
because we
I
can't rule it out. Yeah.
Well, I think it's more reasonable to believe, especially the number of very intelligent theists I know that have been atheists before and have thought through and wrestled like I have through different things. I think it's more reasonable to believe that the billions of people over time are actually not all delusional. Like,
Right.
I think there's so many smart people. Like, I think that that's actually more reasonable when thought through to believe, and and also humility to believe that I don't fully understand why there's all these differences, but it's actually more likely that there's something real going on that people are describing. Not people are crazy. Like, you can be a crazy atheist. I'm not saying you are, but I know crazy atheists who are conspiracy theorists who, think the government's trying to do this, that, and the other thing, and they don't believe in it.
Right.
Yeah.
But what about the billions? Maybe not as many billions, but there are billions who haven't experienced anything. They go through their entire lives not experiencing a single thing. So why would God leave them out of the loop?
Well, and this is the question.
This kind of ties back to God being evil, right? Or whether or not God is evil. Because why would God leave like a whole bunch, if God is real, right? If God is actually existing and can do good things for people, there seems to be a lot of people who don't get that benefit, right? There's kids born with cancer, kids born with Edwards syndrome, kids born with, anencephaly, kids born with Lesch-Nyhan syndrome, you know, they don't get that benefit.
Yeah.
There's parents that are praying, begging God to heal their kids, and God does nothing. God is watching these animals suffer. You know, and none of these beings are getting any benefit from God. But, you know, but then there's, you know, people who come up in my life saying, "Oh yeah, God's in my life and God's doing great things for me." And
Yeah.
that seems pretty fucked up if you you know,
Yeah.
if you want to be honest. That's pretty fucked up. Why would a God do that?
Well, I just want to remind you, I have tons of empathy for that. And I have experienced a good amount of suffering too, as a theist and also as an atheist. So I'm not one of those people who's like, well, yeah, but I'm great and I don't care about you. Like, that's not my position. I can only say from my experience that there's things I've experienced and there's things I haven't experienced, right? There are things I have yet to experience too, that I don't know anything about. And also that I don't know why and how it all works. I'm not that knowledgeable, but I can say that when I seek, there is a seeking piece, right? I want to say I made the first move, right? I sought. So I do think there's a piece that has to do with us seeking it.
Okay.
You know, yeah.
All right. Well, here we can kind of put this to the test a little bit. But I need a little bit know a little bit more about your God. Does your God always do the right thing?
Again, like I said, I'm really not dodging, but I'm being very careful in how I answer. And so
I don't
saying
know
that
and I don't know is okay. You can say
yeah,
I don't know.
I mean, I hope so, but I don't.
You hope
Yeah,
so?
I
You don't
hope
really
so,
know?
but I don't know.
Okay.
I don't. I mean, I know the Bible and I know the Christian theology, right? But there's a lot I don't know. And the reason I keep coming back to my experience is I think that's all we can. Some deeper level. We could know about science and math, right?
Okay.
We can know about the material world, but as
Okay.
far as experiential things, there's limits.
What would God have to do then for you to start questioning his goodness?
Well, I did, and I have. That's why we're talking right now, because
Okay.
I had to go. I went going through a long enough period of suffering myself, or seeing my daughter, God forbid, like that would probably kill it in 5 minutes. If anything horrible, happened to my daughter,
Okay.
you know what I mean? Like that would be really rough, you know?
Okay.
But
so seeing something
yeah,
happen,
like
something bad happen to your daughter, okay, or just something bad happen.
that would be
right.
But I will say,
let me ask you this: would seeing somebody else's daughter suffer, would that do it for you?
Yeah, I mean, I know you're trying to get me to this place. I know where you're going with this, but
well, I'm trying to, because we're kind of testing the boundaries of what you're telling us.
What I'm
you're
trying
telling
to
us
say
that
is
this God is good. But we're
If
seeing a
I
lot of
sought
holes here,
long-
you know?
if I've sought God long enough, if I've prayed, if I've done all the stuff I know to do, and for long enough, maybe no answers were given, no guidance, no growth, no goodness in my life or the lives around me that I have impact over, then, because I see it more as a relationship with the individual to grow that individual. Like I haven't seen God answer my prayer. I prayed for my daughter's father to not be a narcissistic, violent prick. Pardon my language, right?
Did that work out for you?
No, I'm saying I didn't really pray for that. I prayed for that relationship. It didn't. No.
Oh, so God didn't answer your prayers?
No, what I'm trying to tell you is I think he has choices. Like this other human being has choices they can make.
Okay.
You know what I mean? God's not, it's not a puppeteer.
I got it. Okay. Well, I guess I'm trying to understand, because like, let's just say if there was like some people that were harming somebody, you know?
Yes.
I don't know, harming a woman at a party. Now, would you step in and try to stop it?
Oh, I hope so.
You hope so? Maybe at least call somebody, or whistle, draw attention to it, do something,
harming
right?
a woman at a for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Would your God do something?
Again, like it's like anything that has to do with once I make God an object divorced from its relational kind of thing.
God has to be an object in some way, because what else would God be if not an object, right? Because God
I don't know.
Like God has to have because you've kind of talked to us about all this intentionality, like this God has done good things for you. And so, I mean, is it, what else could it be if not an object?
I don't know, but I look at the outcomes and the, you know what I mean? I'm looking at
Well, does it have
outcomes and
intent?
effects.
Yeah. Does it have intent? Does it have a mind?
I don't know. I know if I seek, then it changes me and everything else as a result of that.
Sounds very cloudy. Yeah.
Well, it's not cloudy because my whole life transformed. And even my atheist father who hates religion said, he's like, what happened to you? You're so much better than you used to be. And I said, do you really want to know?
Well, I mean,
so
yeah, it's interesting because I kind of went the opposite direction, right? Like I was in a pretty bad place. And then when I finally just understood that I don't believe in any gods, it was like like a weight was taken off of me. And my life has been an upward trajectory ever since. So,
and you know what's funny? I would tell you if that's the case, this is going to sound weird, but I would tell you then you're on the right track, right?
Okay.
Like,
yeah,
if that's
I would agree with
true
that.
For you,
I totally agree with that.
Yeah, and I'm not being condescending. I'm genuinely saying, like, I wouldn't tell someone else, oh, well, you have to do what I'm doing exactly. But if somebody was struggling or suffering and they were like, do you know anything I can do, depending on what it is,
right,
I'd say, well, these are the things that help me, right?
Yeah,
these are the things that have
yeah, and I got to make it clear, I'm not trying to convince you there is no God. I'm trying to get you to convince me that there is one, or that this God is not evil. That's what I'm trying to do. That's what I'm honestly trying to do. So I'm asking you these tough questions because, like I said, if I'm testing, if we're going to put air in this tire, I got to be sure that there are no holes in the tire, right? Before I put it on the car. And that's what I'm doing. I'm testing the tire to make sure there's no holes in it.
But here's the hard part. With what you just told me, I don't think in good conscience I could tell you to try and pursue a different worldview. If you're telling me that your life sucked, or pardon my language, I don't know if it was that bad. I didn't want to misquote you. But if you're telling me your life was one way because of your belief system before, and it was a theistic or religious belief system, and you deconstructed that to a place where you're in a place of freedom and joyfulness and thriving, in good conscience, I wouldn't tell you to take on my worldview.
Well, yeah, it's about truth though, right? It's about pursuing truth and figuring out what's true, right? And so, and so that's why I'm like, okay, but you think this is true, right? You believe this to be true. And so if you believe it to be true, I want to see what you see. I want to, I'm trying to get behind your eyes, so to speak, and kind of get inside your mind and say, okay, well, what is making it true for you? And if you're telling me, well, I can't really describe this God. I don't know if it's an object. I don't know if it has intent. I don't know how it has a mind.
Well, I could tell you what I would tell you if you wanted to know that. Then unfortunately, it's work. It's a process of pursuing and seeking and prayer and response. I tell you, you have to try that if you want to.
What if we've all done?
It's not
what if we've done that?
Yeah, but
we've done that. I didn't want to become atheist or agnostic or whatever. Like, that wasn't something that I chose. It's something that happened.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it happened.
And
exactly.
If that happens, and to be honest, like, if that happens to me, this is going to sound weird, but like, if that happens to me too, and I end up in a place of greater freedom and growth and character development, and my daughter has, everything's better, then okay, right? Like, I'd be good with that.
Pole starting.
If that happened.
So is it about the outcome that's just telling you, well, the outcome is telling me that this is true, or
nobody likes me?
It's nothing personal. It's not. It's the number of people who vote against you. It's not that people go to vote against you. It's the number.
Oh, okay.
Because we had one that it was 98-4 against, and they're in the Kickpole Hall of Fame. So that's really bad.
That might be me if I can make it past 4.
I don't know. In 20 seconds? No, I don't think so. Not in 20 seconds. But I guess I hear what you're saying. But I think though that the thing about this is that, like, when what we're looking for is something that increases the probability that your belief is true, right? That's what we're looking for. And the trouble with that is if you're telling us, well, I can't really describe what this God is. I can't.
No, what I'm telling
You know, there's just
what I'm
like there's
telling
just a lot of like unknowns, a lot of variables, and you know,
But if I'm telling
hard
you
to
it's
believe it.
uniquely personal to you as well, right? If I'm telling you the answer is that you would have to experience yourself some kind of, seeking that is responded to, if you wanted to, then that's how you'd find out. It's not
Sure.
a philosophical objection,
Well,
sort of like understanding the object as.
Well, here's a well, this will kind of be the last question. I gotta let you go, but here's the question that I kind of stumped. Remember the Hindu monk I was telling you about earlier? Because
Yeah.
he was on the same kind of thought train that you're going down. He was saying he was saying my ability to prove it to you is basically like telling somebody who's never tasted honey before what it tastes like, right? You just have to taste it for yourself to know. Well, see, here's the thing. Like the vast majority of people who taste honey for the first time, who have never tasted it, all have the same experience. Now, there's some outliers, don't get me wrong, but that's usually because maybe their taste buds work differently, or, there's some type of, maybe they have like a disorder.
World, right?
That's a disorder. Yeah. Well, if this God interacts with the material world, we should be able to discern whether or not this God is real, because that's how everything else works in a material world, right?
Well, it might work in material world, but it might work differently. So that's a whole conversation for another
We
day.
know consciousness, we know numbers, we know, there's lots of things that are immaterial that are in this material world that we know are true, right? Or know are real. Gravity, energy, things like that. Time, we all know this, we all know these things exist. We all know these things are actual things, right? And so, but it seems to be that this God, like whichever God you're talking about, it doesn't matter if it's you or somebody else, it's all seems to be escaping that. And that, I would say, is quite a feat. It's quite a feat. So with that,
all right,
I appreciate you coming up.
Thank you for being so respectful. And
Absolutely.
I've had some bad conversations, so I appreciated this conversation.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, yeah, and thank you for your cordiality as well. So I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Take care.
Okay, bye-bye.
All right.
We match energy on this neck of the woods.
We do match energy, absolutely. And the energy was good. It was good energy. So, when you're kind and, you can come up with any belief or opinion you want. Because it's not, I've heard some ones that are way out there, and that definitely wasn't, way out there. That was kind of in line with like some woo stuff, right? But yeah, it was in a sense, but on the other hand, I think we got to the crux. It was, I can't really describe what this God is, but I know it's there. I can't describe it, but I know it's there.
And I understand a certain level of woo. Like I subscribe to a certain level of woo.
Yeah.
But I think when you can't use logic or critically think anymore, that's when there's a problem.
Yeah, exactly.
Or when there's not evidence, or like even a concept of evidence.
Yeah. Like I think it just came down to it's reasonable to think that there is versus that there isn't. Yeah, I don't know. If that were the case, then everybody would believe in some sort of God. It would be, it wouldn't be like something that would be like a hard concept for me. Like, I just don't see it's more likely than not. I don't see that. It doesn't track for me. So, yeah. So yeah, I hope there's magic. Yeah, same here, our planet. That'd be cool if there was magic. That I'm not gonna lie, it would be cool if there was a God that was like all knowing, all powerful, that answered prayers and did what he did, right? Honestly, I think that would be cool. But the problem with that is, it would seem to me that this world would look so much different. We wouldn't have all these questions that we have if this God existed.
No, we would have answers. We would have I think the God that's all powerful and all knowing knows what I need to hear or see in order to believe in him.
Exactly. Okay, Dark Brandon, how you doing?
Pretty good. How are you?
Hey, doing well. Can I get your age and your pronouns, please?
37, he, him.
All right. And which God do you believe in?
So I believe in the deity absolute. There's going to be only one God of reality, the God of the infinite God, the one that exists.
The one that
there's
exists?
No name for God. Yeah, God's only revealed his nature, not his name.
And is this God of the Bible, the Torah, or the Quran?
Well, and yeah, that's what I'm trying to tell. So the Bible is an approximation. We've got a bunch of different people that believed in God. They put some accurate things in there, some inaccurate things in there, but God doesn't exist inside of the Bible. There's no God of the Bible. There's people wrote about the God of reality and put it in the Bible. Some of it's good. I do think the New Testament is an excellent document. It's not perfect. I think Jesus came to show us who God is, but again, you're not, if you got really know what I believe, you're gonna say I'm not a Christian. I mean, Christians aren't gonna like what I believe. I don't believe the Bible's the word of God, and so it's just I want to get you to a.
Are you Bible baby?
Yeah, it sounds like to me that okay, so it's like some type of Build-A-Bear God. That's what it sounds like.
No, it's just the God of reality, the infinite creator.
The infinite creator. Okay.
Are you going to tell us about the Uranta books?
What were you going to say, host?
Well, Aaliyah had a question.
Yeah.
No,
are you going to talk about the Uranta books?
It looks like I'm muted in chat. I tried to type it into chat. I do like the Uranta book. Do I know
you're Bible baby, right?
Pumpkin baby?
No, Bible baby.
Oh, Bible baby?
No, I'm Dark Brandon.
Okay. But you do the Uranta books. Okay.
There are several people on this app that believe the Uranta book. I saw somebody randomly come in out of nowhere and start preaching it. I'm like, wow, that's really...
All right. I guess I want to... Okay. I want to talk to Christians, Muslims, or Jews, but appreciate you coming up.
Oh, okay. I thought you said...
Okay. So...
We don't need more fake books.
Yeah. Okay. We'll bring up Mad Fisher. And it just didn't sound that interesting to me anyway. I had just gotten a...
It's not, I promise.
Okay.
I promise.
And Mad Fisher, how's it going?
Oh, it's going pretty good. How about you and yourself, my brother?
Hey, doing well. Can I get your age and your pronouns, please?
I am 46 years old, and I'm a he.
Okay. And which
I'm
God
a
do you...
fisherman. That's why I call myself Mad Fisherman. I'm a big fisherman.
Okay. And which God do you believe in? The God of the Bible, the Torah, or the Quran?
To be honest with you, I don't believe there's a God that is sitting here on this crust of the earth. If you read certain different things, I believe that they're all man-made.
Is he in a different crust? Is it pizza crust or sourdough crust?
Yeah.
No, I do believe in a God, but it's not the God from the Bible that man has written.
Okay.
I do believe in a force.
Okay. All right.
I can't trust man.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm gonna hold space for someone who believes in the God of the Bible, the Torah, the Quran. But appreciate you coming up.
Not a problem, sir.
All right. Have a good one. Yeah. I think I can handle like one deist per day.
I mean, at least tell me what kind of crust.
Yeah.
If
right.
We're gonna get into it.
I'm thinking like Chicago style crust.
That's good. Have you seen the ones that are like, it's like they put like little hot dogs in the crust? That seems really ridiculous.
I have seen that, and that's weird. I don't think I would eat that. Yeah. I have gotten like further and further away from hot dogs. Like I don't think I eat hot dogs anymore. Like we were talking about Costco hot dogs yesterday, right?
Okay.
And my daughter was like, ew, I would not eat those, because like I was musing about how they're like $1.50. They are good, but they are $1.50, right? Like
It's
things is
$1.50.
Yeah.
And at least in my area, they've switched from Pepsi to Coke at the food court, which is like a big deal for me because I'm a
Oh,
Coke girl. And so now like it's even better. It's like I
that's a
get
game
$1.50.
changer.
Yeah, it's a complete game changer.
That
So
is a game changer.
Dr.
Yeah.
Husband loves to go to Costco on the
Mhm.
weekends. And so he comes back with hot dogs. And so yeah, no, that's
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
And I get them every once in a while, but what I do is I'll take my bottle and I'll
Oh
fill
yeah.
it with the soda water because I really
Oh.
have a thing for soda water now.
No, I do too. I
Yeah.
love soda water with like some lime and mint. It's like
Yes, it is. And Christina, yes, I got him. So Christina's here too. Oh, wait. We'll bring Christina up so she
we
can
might
talk.
all be here.
Yeah, you'll be here too. But yes. So I did the big reveal, Christina. Which is Christina coming up? I hope she is. I did give her
Yeah,
a
it was a
name.
whole thing, Christina. You missed it.
Yeah, it was a
Noe
whole
and I
thing.
were here though.
Yeah. Noe and Aaliyah were here. But I got your card. I got the card and the stickers. And see, officially, my bottle is now a GGG bottle. But thank you so much for the card too. So she may be having troubles coming in, but thank you so much for the card. It was so nice. Thank you.
Noe said that she's here too. She's just in a pit of despair. Be out soon, hopefully. LOL,
Okay.
LOL.
Okay. Well, we'll be waiting. We'll be here when you're done.
Just
we promise.
say your atheisms for Noe, everyone. She's going through it.
All atheisms to you. Yes. All in the name of science.
But I will say I
You.
did see her over the weekend. Or was it Friday?
She's
yeah, I saw her on
driving.
Friday. She looks great.
Okay. Okay. Christina's driving.
Yeah.
That's why.
Christina
Okay.
is
See,
driving, yeah.
you see how that works? It's like, I invite somebody up and they don't just come up when they're driving.
Oh, not a rule follower.
Right? A rule follower. Yeah.
And you would think it would be the Christians that are following the rules, but they're the ones that are always lying.
Yeah. They're saying that
and
they're
saying bad things.
Mm-hmm. And big hugs to you, Noe. Big hugs. So, but yeah, I just, it's just funny because I seem to get I get like the woo people in waves. Like they come like 4 at a time.
Yeah.
Almost like zombies.
Probably 3. It's like they have a thing with the numbers,
Come in 3s, yeah. Like numerology.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Look.
Oh, and it's a sign. Look, because your timer's 30 minutes. That's a 3. Like
that's a 3. Yes.
Yeah.
It is a sign.
See, there's
It is
something
a
to
sign.
it.
Exactly. If you need woo, use chemistry.
Yeah,
Exactly.
that's true.
Exactly. So, yeah. Oh boy, some of these things. But were you in the live? Was it Thursday when it was the lady talking about when we were talking about killing kids and when Joel was up here? I think it was either Thursday.
Oh,
or
I might
Friday.
have. I'm Thursday. I might have been. Oh no, probably not. Maybe I
Okay.
was. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know what happened yesterday. That's not true. I only know what happened yesterday because it was Mother's Day. It was such a good day.
That's fair. That's fair. Well, I'm glad it was a good day. I'm glad it was a good day.
was.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
Me and my toddler and my husband and my mom, we all went out to brunch, and so that's
Nice.
cute. And then I
Nice.
lounged around. I took a nap. It was a great day. It was
That's a
how
great
Mother's
day.
Day should be. Yeah.
Yeah, Saturday, we did, it like spilled over from Saturday to Sunday. So like Saturday, I cleaned the whole house for Mrs.
Heck yeah.
Verify. Yeah. And so she went and got her car washed and then went and bought things. So that's what she went shopping and car wash. And then I
Amazing. That's the best.
yeah. Oh, and I made her breakfast too. I made her breakfast on Sunday.
yeah.
Mm-hmm. And
What's
then I took her and my daughter to see The Devil Wears Prada 2.
Oh, how was it? Was it good?
It was
No
good.
spoilers.
It was good.
Yeah.
It was the sequel was unnecessary, but
Yeah.
it
Usually
worked. Yeah, it worked. It
That's
was
how I feel about Mormonism.
yeah, the sequel is unnecessary. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
well like that. And yeah, I watched.
A lot
I
like
had
the
to,
Book of Mormon. The
Yeah.
sequel was unnecessary.
yeah, the sequel is unnecessary. Much like the New Testament. same thing.
Also
I
unnecessary.
It's so unnecessary. I went and, well, because then they made me watch the first one because I'd never seen it.
You had never seen it?
I'd
Such
never
a classic.
seen it. Yeah, and I'd never seen it, so they made me watch the first one, and I think the two are about the same. But I didn't think she was so devilish, because, you know, or maybe they were. No. It was just a general thing. She didn't seem so devilish to me. She was just, you know, she was just very. She was very abrupt.
I guess
and
it depends. How do you ground your morality of like what's a devil? You know. What makes the devil?
Yeah.
And you know, the devil and Lucifer and Satan aren't all the same.
Okay. Yeah, they aren't the same. So, but yeah, she was. I mean, yeah, she was very like the Meryl Streep character. I forget her name. She was very like abrupt and to the point and all that. But
Miranda Priestley.
Yeah, Miranda Priestley. She wasn't like. I mean, yeah, she was just very. She was very blunt, but she wasn't like cruel, and she wasn't like evil. No. You know what I mean? She wasn't like that.
But I mean, not like God or anything.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah, she wasn't like genociding and commanding grape or anything like that.
Yeah.
All right, we have Shane X. All right. Yeah, just assertive. How's it going, Shane?
Or is it Shanex? Shanex.
Shane X. You can say Shane if you want, or just shithead or anything.
Oh no, I won't do that. Yeah, okay. Well, we'll just Shanex. I like Shanex. That's kind of cool.
Antichrist.
All right.
I'm gonna change my name to the Christian Antichrist here just to mess with atheists.
Christian Antichrist. There you go.
Well, I'm gonna give credit to Aleister Crowley and Marilyn Manson for doing that though, because those two stories, I was like, because think about this term: self-proclaimed wickedest man alive. He really, once you learn, I suggest if you haven't studied, especially Aleister Crowley and what he said he did, do that. Because it says he summoned a demon, for example, in the Great Pyramids or something. It's a wild story, but good documentary.
Yeah, I don't know anything about that. Are you okay? Well, hold on. Can I get your age and pronouns real quick?
He, him, and 46.
All right. And which God do you believe in?
Man, I doubt every one of them, honestly. I'm just kidding. Not the one of the Bible.
Okay.
You know.
Okay.
You already know.
God of the Bible. Okay. And then which one? What's your best evidence this God is an evil?
Best evidence. My best evidence is faith, man. I'm gonna stick with that. I've been asked that question before, and that's what I went with. Faith is not
evidence.
Yeah, faith is evidence of the unseen, and that's what they don't like about it. It's evidence of the unseen, but they've got to face that. I love the definition of the word faith. Okay. You can always get an atheist for that, but they're not really. But then again, you don't know an atheist's heart, so don't forget that.
Substance of things hoped for, but the evidence of things not seen. That's faith.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. So
things hoped for.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So okay. Well, then that means every belief is true because everybody has faith. Like everybody believes in a God has faith. Yeah.
That's a great point. Even I mean, you put your faith in something. If you can put it in yourself, which is I think what a lot of people. If I didn't believe in God, I would choose myself, I guess. But I'm just a sucker with low self-esteem, man. I love that song when it came out, and it was Offspring. I'm just a sucker with low self-esteem.
Mm-hmm.
But because that was so who I was growing up, and I didn't hang out with them, but I understood like people that ended up being emo wasn't around, but goth or like I was friends with rejects, people that nobody liked. That was my friends, and then I learned, and you know, sort of like Jesus' story, but except instead of sinners, it was just people that got made fun of for how they looked or like.
Hold on, but so you don't have any evidence?
Faith, that's evidence.
Faith. Well,
I mean, I don't have physical evidence.
Okay, but then that means again, like Trust said, that all God's beliefs and religions are all true.
I think so. I mean, I think we're seeing that happen. We're seeing all have fallen short, turn into maybe all have redeemed themselves. I mean, because think about it. And what if all an atheist is doing is not revealing the truth to you? Because they've probably seen the verse that says, "A man that says in his heart there is no God is a fool." And they don't like being considered a fool. They're very big on knowledge.
There's a problem with that, though, Shane. problem with that is that a lot of these gods contradict each other, right? Like, because
That
then
that
like the
doesn't. So
Muslim
what
God
I'm
says,
saying,
well, the Muslim God says there is no God but Allah. Like there literally is no other God, right?
well, the Bible agrees with that too in a way, because if you take away that
Sure.
Jesus is God shit, that's why they don't like people saying Jesus is God. It's not. It doesn't say that in either book. It's
Well, then we
I
still
went
have a
at them with
problem
John
then.
10:30.
Yeah.
When I first saw them doing that, I went at them with John 10:30. I said the Father and I are one at one. But that's true if you are
Okay.
not Trinitarian, if you believe in the Godhead, that's what I believe. I mean, they asked me that
Okay.
question, but
So if the
I believe
Father and I are one, if that's true, then that means that whatever God did, Jesus did, right?
right.
Okay.
Think about a calculator, an old school calculator that just had add, subtract, multiply, divide.
Uh-huh.
If you could somehow do all actions at once, it should go to singularity. Like, because you would have the addition would get subtracted.
What do
The
you mean?
division would get.
Yeah, what does that mean?
Well, you remember the term singularity when it came out? Like somebody, I thought it was an interesting theory. What if the universe just all went back to singularity?
Yeah, that's all we did in high school, Kazak. That's the exact number that we all came out with in high school.
In a way, I see what they meant by singularity.
Okay, I don't know what you mean by singularity.
Yeah.
And what does that have to do with doing all of the PIMDOS at the same time?
Oh my God, I don't even know what that means. I see we don't understand each other, but that's okay. We shouldn't even try.
Well,
it's easier. It's
well,
easier
singularity
to
is where
never
all the
even
math
know.
breaks down, right? That's what a
Math is a
singularity is.
universal. Math is a universal language, and learning that is one of the most important things I learned in school. Math is
Well,
a universal language.
Be that as it
I thought
may,
you
I'm trying to understand then how this all relates to God being not evil. Because in faith and all that.
Well, if God's evil, wouldn't that make us evil?
Not necessarily.
And we're made evil anyway, so that's a dumb question.
Well,
but
that's just like saying, because like for example, serial unalivers, they've had children and the children didn't turn out evil, right? So that doesn't necessarily.
People that consider, for example, rapists evil, they're being judgmental and they're also evil. Think about that. Plus, an innocent man took their place. People are going to be. I hope I get to see the faces of some of these. So, sure, I don't like pride. I've always been a humble man. I humble myself before an Almighty God. That's what they're not doing, bro. Look at many of these kind. They're not humbling themselves.
Are you saying then that Jesus was Jesus perfect?
What do you think, man? Why do we need perfection?
I don't think he
Are
was.
we ever going to be perfect? If we could do exactly for God what Jesus did, I asked him this. I said, what if I did exactly what Jesus did and I was innocent? And he said, I would tell you that I did something for you. I'd already done that for you, and it's before you were ever even born. And that God does answer prayers. The way he answered mine was with a thought, which is interesting considering what an atheist believes, because I've seen my God become thought and logic and make things. I've seen supernatural things I can't explain. And
okay.
Plus, we might know the only ghosts that exist.
Well,
if
we're talking about we're talking about whether or not this God is evil, and if it says Jesus and God are one, right? Would you say then that there were, would you say then that if Jesus and God are one, would Jesus approve of everything that God did?
If Jesus and God are one, I'd be okay with that. He said they are, so they kind of are. But then I agree with the Muslims that because of the word Allah, I agree with them, because I don't know. I mean, if there's one true God, there's one true God, and I believe Allah is. When I didn't like when I saw that my country was going to war with the people that were yelling, God is great. I was like, they're yelling, God is great, and then facing death. And we act like, I mean, to me, and listen to what most Americans say. They say God is good all the time, God is good. I'm going with God is great or awesome. Those words fit. Amazing. I mean, Amazing Grace is one of my favorite songs, and the words to it are just beautiful. Saved a wretch like me. That's my attitude.
Okay. So in that sense, then you would say then that Jesus is good with genocide.
good with genocide. Yes, he is. He showed that.
Yeah. So Jesus.
He
So
doesn't got to play nice.
okay.
He's
So then that
he's
means
a sword.
genocide is morally perfect.
Morally perfect. Yes, it's made that way now. I mean, you'd have people that would try to condemn him. My church wouldn't do. My church would probably do him the worst nowadays if they did something like that. And you know, as far as like being judgmental and telling and all that, my church would probably do the worst. And I'm talking about white Christians that go to any denomination in the deep South to buckle the Bible Belt. Churches
Okay.
down here. See, if I went to church down here, they would tell me. If I say the word GD or something for them, they correct me every time. They can't. They say God's name in vain, and I said, you say God's name in vain when you pray.
All right.
That's what I tell them.
Hang on,
when
Shane.
you say,
Gotcha. Hang on, Shane. Sorry, I gotta jump in. We're like going down the preaching route, so I gotta jump in. So I just want to kind of rope it all back in, so we stay like right on topic. Okay. So help me out here. if Jesus and God are one, and if Jesus is morally perfect, and then I didn't quite get an answer to my question if whether or not genocide is morally perfect.
Okay. Oh, I see what you're saying. Well, if what would make it morally perfect? There would have to be something that made it that way.
Well, I'm asking you because you said that Jesus is morally perfect. Jesus and God are one. And then you said Jesus was good with genocide. You did say that. So then that means genocide is morally perfect, right?
I think that's why it's important that it's in there, because it being in there, and it's in there very early. And I think it's important that because it shows, it's like, what happened to those people? Why did you do that to them? And it makes you ask some good questions. I think we don't know yet if it's morally perfect, because we will be able to tell God if we face him. If we ever meet him, we'll be able to tell him what about, and we'll be able to ask him those questions. Like he kept some of the answers for themselves, is what it says in there. He kept them for himself. So that means even these great questions are not going to get those answers.
Okay. Well, you have to believe it's morally perfect because you believe that Jesus and God are morally perfect.
A person told me the other day that I had better morals than my God because I wouldn't take the life of their child. I mean, I said, I appreciate you saying that, but I said, I would never say that, but I appreciate you saying that, I guess.
Well, would you take the life of somebody's child?
There's a side of me. I have multiple personalities. They call it a disorder, but it's really all of us if you think about it. But there's this side of me that is just absolute psycho. And I think most white people have it in them, and something triggers it sometimes. And then you see them on the news, because the stories about white people on the news might be true, and there's some horrible ones. But I mean, the media showed us, at least finally, the truth finally came out of the light. And even the media was bad. I really hated it. And people would ask me, let's watch the news. And I'd be like, and I told one of them, I said, it's like 30 minutes of boredom and sadness with sports on the side. No, thank you. I'd rather sit and watch the grass grow.
Okay. But well, hey, I do have to cut this short, Shane, but I do appreciate you coming up, and because it's almost time for me to go. So, but hey, enjoy the rest of your day.
Yeah, you too, man.
All right. Take care. All right. And let's bring up the mods on that note. Hey, Forever Atheist.
Hello.
Okay. 3 pips. Wait a minute. Forever Atheist, did I see you live the other day?
That you did.
Oh, everybody, Forever Atheist went live the other day. I was I don't know if it was either late at night or early in the morning, but I don't remember. But
no, 3 p.m.
It was 3 p.m. Oh, it was during the middle of the day. I might have been, maybe it was during a nap. That's what it was. But I was like, oh, look at that. Well, congratulations. That's awesome. That's really awesome. So see, that's why we need to follow the mods, because in the event that they go live, we can support them and give them some love. So that's so great. That is so great. Awesome. Oh, there's Peg. Oh, Peg. Peg's got the doggy. Yay. So these are the mods, everybody. So yes, please follow, give him some love, give him some gifts if you can spare one or more, a coin if you can spare one or more, because it's just a great way to say thank you to them, because they make this live really, really awesome. So thank you guys. I appreciate you guys for all doing that. And also on the other side, we've got Pseudo V Science, Kif Webb, Blaster Master 80 was in there earlier today. There he is. So they do awesome work on the YouTube side as well. So thank you all. I really, really thank you. And the last thing to do is find a good live to raid. Let's see who we can raid today. Okay, well, we got a lot of heavy hitters on. Well, we've got Ian, we've got Justin, we've got Be Easy, we've got Resurrected Skeptic, and that's all I see. So, who should we go raid? Who should we go raid? How about, you know what? I haven't raided Ian before. But I don't even think Ian ever calls out raids, does he? Does Ian ever call out raids? Not that it matters. I don't care if Ian does or not, but I've just never actually seen Ian get raided. Has Ian ever gotten raided? I don't think anyone, yeah. I don't think anyone's ever, well, screw it. Let's just go raid Ian. Lou calls out the raids. Okay, well, let's just go raid Ian. Oh, he's not going to be on for much longer? Oh, okay. All right. Well, let's skip Ian then. Okay. We'll do Ian another day. Well, let's raid Justin then. He starts about the same time I do? Okay. Well, then let's raid Justin. How about that? I know Justin starts a little bit later than I do, right? So let's raid Justin. Let's do that. Yeah, we'll raid Justin, Deconstruction Zone. And it's a double raid. We'll raid them both on YouTube and TikTok. So, okay, well, that's where we'll go. Deconstruction Zone. Just type that in your search chat if you're not following Justin, and you'll be able to easily find him. And other than that, I hope everybody has a great rest of your Monday. This live went by really, really fast. I don't know why. Thank you. Thank you. W to everyone as well. So I hope everyone has a great rest of your Monday. And other than that, I will see you all tomorrow. So take care, guys. And there's some music to send you on your way. Have a good night, guys.
DQ Trust was here.